missed your surprise title.
This conference will now be recorded.
Is it Janet Dolan?
De Silva.
De Silva, thank you.
It is 6:30, you can start when you're ready.
Okay.
You want to speak? I just appreciate the time.
Good evening and welcome to the August 18th meeting of the Select Board. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time I'm going to open the meeting to public comment. And we have Janet De Silva.
Correct.
Would you like to come up? I'm going to turn this around so you can be heard.
I will stand here and give credence to the board, and I appreciate that you are taking comments, so that's much appreciated. I have a couple of comments. I'm not looking for answers. I'm basically making comments. I attended a board meeting maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago where it was told that there were going to be QR codes used for the town meeting. I think that's a disservice to seniors who do not have the ability to use a QR code, and also people who don't own the ability to use a QR code. I am someone who knows how to use a QR code, but I don't like using QR codes. I like paper. Okay, so thank you for listening to me on that particular issue. Town meeting is a time for all people of the community who can vote should be able to see everything in writing. My next item has to do with clarification of the shortage that we have for health insurance. I have looked at some notes, because I took very good notes when I listened to the issue about the health insurance problem. What I'm seeing is that we should have known something about this particular issue starting in 2022. And it's a disservice to anyone who is a taxpayer. And I believe there were people in this room are taxpayers of this community, that we should have known in 2022, 2023, that the deficits were going up. And so it's very important that whoever is on the committee that attends some of these meetings, then we should know ahead of time. It's put us in a very difficult spot to have to go back to town meeting or take money from stabilization or free cash, because it eventually is going to have an impact on the taxpayer. Whether we vote on it or not, it has an impact on the town. So thank you for listening about that. Another item that I'm concerned about is our school committee budget. Our school committee budget this year, which I looked thoroughly at this winter, should never have received an 8.4 increase in their budget. We should be tightening our belts when we know that we were going to have problems. And we had a lot of money during COVID that we received from many different locations, and we flew high on the hog. And I think that's what's created some of our problems in town. We should have never had a town override. I believe that we should have tightened our belts a long time ago and stopped having COVID money that we got used to. And the last item I have has to do to you, Lisa. I realize that we have something in common. And what that's in common is that I was an employee of Suffolk University. And I see that you graduated from the School of Management,
Yes.
and I worked at the law school.
Oh,
And so the School of Management and the law school actually combined after I left. And so I'm quite familiar what happened at the School of Management, and now the law school is having some difficulty because of the management. So congratulations,
thank you.
and I want to just thank you for getting your master's in management.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Is there anyone online that would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment now and hand this over to Steve. Oh, no, we're gonna sign some documents. Do we have any minutes to approve?
We have, I'm acting as clerk tonight, Nicole's not here. We have the special board meeting minutes from August 3rd to 2025 at 4 p.m. here.
Okay,
Motion to approve meeting minutes from August 3rd.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0-0. Is that it?
We have a special meeting, or we have a select board meeting from August 4th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Select board meeting, Lawrence Memorial Hall here.
Do I hear a motion? Go ahead.
And to approve the meeting minutes from August 4th.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes 4-0. Is that it? Sorry. There are no additions to the agenda. So now I will pass this over to you, Steve.
Sure. We have a series of appointments tonight. We have Jim Natle, the chair of the Community Preservation Committee. Linda Leduc is here from the DPW to talk about complete streets policy. We have Ed Comeau and Kate Nadeau here to present the guidelines for the use of the town logo and seal. And we also have Ed Comeau here tonight to speak about the Quabbin days that are coming up. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Natle and let him get started with his presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good evening.
What you have in front of you are 4 grant agreements from votes that were approved at the most recent town meeting. We have the McPherson Garden Committee, which they're doing continuing work over at the at that garden space. We have the Tri-Lakes Aquatic Restoration, which will happen starting this fall. We'll do some weed control over at the 3 lakes that we have. On that grant agreement, I actually wrote the wrong date on that. If we could just make a change from the 25th of August to the 18th, which is tonight's.
Which one is that?
The Tri-Lakes.
Okay.
The third one is the Belchertown Firefighters Museum. They're doing some restoration to the exterior of that building. And then we have the Small Farm, New England Small Farm Institute, which is going to be a restoration project over at the barn. We've been using this grant agreement for probably almost close to 20 years now. And just spells out, the conditions of the grant and the reporting to the committee and whatnot. And so these are non-town entities. That's why they get brought before the select board to sign. The town entities, we don't necessarily need grant agreements with. And so if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Do you want to pick this one?
Any questions?
You're running one.
Yes.
I don't have a question, but if you would be so kind for viewers to explain the CPC grant cycle that is going to be opening up for this fall. And
Sure. I
what
mean,
you grant them.
it's a yearly process. We start, the committee starts meeting up in September, following the summer off after town meeting. At that point, grant applications will be open until the first Friday in November, so at any point from September to that first Friday in November, grant applications can be submitted. We also will make it known that people that have questions about the grant cycle can certainly reach out to us, attend one of our meetings before that time, and get any information that they may need, plus the resources with the Community Preservation Coalition has a website that is also a link to our application process, that people that are having questions on what is fundable and how to get the application together can certainly reach out to the state coalition from that. And after the deadline for the first Friday in November, that's when the committee will start reviewing applications and reach out to the applicants, have them attend some of our meetings, explain them. We can get our questions together, and then of course bring it those recommendations to town meeting.
And is that on our website? Like, where do people go to get?
So
that
you
link?
go onto the town website,
Yeah.
and at that point you can find Community Preservation Committee, and you'll get a link to the application along with links to the state coalition for community preservation.
Great.
Is it all electronic now, or is it still paper?
It's all electronic. I mean, we get paper because we have 9 committee members, so we all need to have the paper. So you are required to drop off 12 applications in paper, but we also want it electronically so we can save that as a document for future use.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And so, what do you need us to do?
Just sign out the 4 grants, and I don't necessarily need you to sign them right this instance, but if you sign them and just return them to Community Preservation, our mailbox up here at Town Hall, I will pick them up and we will be good to go.
Do you need a motion to?
Yeah, why don't you vote to
Yeah,
endorse
that's what
them,
I'm thinking.
please? Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we endorse the McPherson Garden Community Preservation Act grant agreement. We'll start with the
Dates and,
grant made is on 29 day of July 2025.
okay.
You want to do all 4 at once, or you want to?
Yeah, can we do all 4? Okay.
Added to that motion with the Tri-Lakes Restoration. The grant agreement is made on 18 day of August 2025. Belchertown Firefighters Museum. The grant agreement is 29 day of July 2025. And the last one is the New England Small Farm Institution. The grant agreement is 29 day of July 2025.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Why don't we sign it right now, and you can be on your way.
I just also want to reiterate, these were all passed at town meeting already. We're just executing on the grants.
What was the addition?
Tri-Lakes.
Tri-Lakes.
Right.
Aquatic.
We had Nesfee, Firefighter Museum, Tri-Lakes.
Excuse me?
Nesfee, Firefighter Museum, Tri-Lakes.
And
Pearson.
Garden.
Pearson.
McPherson, yeah.
Do we need to keep a signed copy? Or we'll get a signed copy from them?
Can you?
I mean, I can get signed copies and make copies of that and get it back to the
To Steve?
Thank you.
Either way, I can. If you want me to do it, I can. If you want to do it, that's fine. Whatever's better for you.
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
You'll take care of it? Okay.
We just want to
Sure.
be efficient, give it
Yeah.
back to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Thank you so much.
Thank you and the committee for all the work you do to steward this money for us too.
Appreciate it.
It's amazing.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. Branding committee?
No, Linda.
Oh, Linda.
Public Works Director is here to talk about complete streets policies.
I apologize. Linda Leduc, the Linda Leduc.
Hi. Thank you for having me tonight. Yes. In your packet, I think you have a memo and a couple letters and information on the Complete Streets program. And so I'm here tonight to go over the policy with you, and in hopes of your approval tonight. We've gone through various steps to get to this time, and once the policy is approved, we can then move into a prioritization plan process. So I am happy to go through either the memo, if you want me to just give you a general kind of overview of where we're at, and if you want to go through the policy through section, I'm happy to do that as well.
So for the viewers at home, this is for the Complete Streets policy, and maybe you could do, I don't know, is everyone okay with the memo?
I think a brief overview is fine, just quick.
Yeah, the memo gives a good overview
Yeah.
of the program and where we're at, and then we can delve into the policy if you like.
Okay.
Um,
Thanks, Linda.
Sure, so tonight I'm here to ask for your vote to adopt the Complete Streets policy, and then as indicated in section 2 of the policy, to approve the establishment of a Complete Streets Committee. The Complete Streets funding program was created by legislative authorization through the 2014 Transportation Bond Bill, and that is to reward municipalities that demonstrate a commitment to integrating complete streets into local policy and in practice. So the Complete Streets program allows communities to, again, get some rewards for making complete streets, which are complete streets make travel safe, comfortable, convenient, and accessible for people of all ages, abilities, and travel modes. By designing streets for a wide range of users, streets become more than just links that people pass through. They can contribute to the safety, health, economic viability, and quality of life in a community by expanding transportation options between home, school, work, recreation, and retail destinations. Embedding Complete Streets principles in policy and practice help promote more livable and equitable communities. So the program was designed through legislation, was designed on a tier process. Belchertown has opted into simultaneously looking into Tier 1 and Tier 2. So Tier 1 consists of training for a representative. So I attended the required training in June 11 of 2024, and then I began composing a draft policy. Actually, back in the day of Steve, you had begun looking into this program, so I had kind of a basis of what Belchertown was looking into, but that was years ago when the program has changed. So I incorporated or looked into about 10 different communities and basically Belchertownized the policy and picked, the pieces that I thought would work well for our town. I also consulted with VHB, which is an engineering firm we work closely with. They have great experience in assisting other communities. So I went back and forth with them, came up with a draft, and was then in front of the planning board in March. The Tier 1 requires that there be a public meeting. So I met with the planning board in March. They thought that the policy really represented what Belchertown was looking for. They also were working at the time on subdivision rules and regs, the update, which has since passed. So in your packet, you do have a letter from the town planner who states that the board was in support of adopting, and it has been incorporated now into our Belchertown subdivision rules and regs. So in the meantime, because we opted to go simultaneous with Tier 1 and Tier 2, I was able to apply for the technical assistance for $38,000 that is going to help us create this prioritization plan. That is where the community process really begins. So MassDOT has awarded that $38,000. I worked again with VHB on a proposal. They were also MassDOT approved engineering firm. So it went pretty smooth, and I'm waiting for that to be signed back from MassDOT. But again, approval of the policy is really what we need to do to get into that next phase. Once we begin the prioritization plan process, we do have a community meeting piece of it. I'm excited to hear back from town residents and see what they are looking for. I've had a lot of feedback in my last couple of years of being in the position and have some ideas of my own, but I'm looking forward to see what people are really wanting. Once we complete the plan, it gets approved by your board and then is submitted to MassDOT, and then we are able to go into Tier 3, which is applying for construction funds. And a municipality has the ability to apply for up to $500,000 over a rolling 4 fiscal year period. That can be in a bunch of little grants to construct projects. It can be one big $500,000 grant. So that is kind of the icing on the cake for this program. Beyond that, besides being written into now our subdivision rules and regs, right now I'm working with VHB on our Main and North Main reconstruction corridor. That is a TIP project and we will get extra points for being a complete streets community, which is great. And then I also wanted to mention, this was just came across my desk. MassDOT has just announced another grant program. It's called LEAP. Which I can tell you what it stands for in just a second. LEAP is a local early actionable planning. So this is a new MassDOT program that will fund design engineering for complete streets projects. So the prioritization plan itself, once we identify the projects that we would like to add to the plan, VHB will give us a cost estimate for design, engineering, and construction. Sometimes those numbers, once you get to the project, those numbers don't work, they're outdated. So there's another program MassDOT is initiating which would allow us to apply for additional funds, which I just thought was great as we move along in this process. So that is, that's the program, and if you want to delve a little more into the policy, I'm happy to do that. If you have questions, you want me to go over it.
How do you want to proceed?
Can I just point out that on page 25, there is a recommendation from the planning board. It was unanimous that they are recommending the board adopt this.
It's a win for the town. It's a great work.
Yeah. Any questions about this? I have one. You talk a lot about extra points. Does extra points mean additional money? Or what does extra points do for us?
So in grant writing in general, it will get you
A higher score.
a higher
Okay.
score on approval. In the TIP process, it gives us extra points, and we the state, and so MassDOT evaluates the cost of the project in its entirety and your score on a TIP. And that's how you can become, that's how you get into the process of being funded. Right now, Main and North Main is not funded. It's in the process, we're in the design phase, but if we can get a couple more points as the cost has gone up, it works like that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Anything else?
I had a slightly specific question. I know a few months back I had sent you a question where I asked about the lack of a school zone and crosswalk around Jabesh. So is this the type of project that the public could then come and say, we'd like to see this, and maybe that could happen?
Yeah, I would love to hear from people on Springfield Street. That's a constant question on why don't we have a crosswalk there?
Yeah.
And then on South Main or Jabesh, why don't we have a crosswalk there? And it's because we don't have a connecting sidewalk.
Right.
And to get a sidewalk designed, that we're talking a whole nother ballgame. So yes, those two areas would be great. The intersection on State Street, at the police station, Chestnut Hill, we don't have signals there. That's come up. That's a big price tag.
Yeah.
But if we can get those things on the plan, then we can look for construction. I do have one edit of my own.
Yes.
I was reading this again tonight. So on page 3, when you look at the documents that this policy would reference, the last bullet says documents and plans created for Belchertown, including but not limited to. I recognize that the subdivision rules and regs were not a sub-bullet, and since that has been adopted, the subdivision rules and regs are updated, they do reference complete streets. I would like to add that in as a final sub-bullet.
Okay, so that's just going back and,
Yeah, I'll just plug that in,
Okay.
but it's just one change. Otherwise, you know, unless you have changes, I'm happy to submit this to MassDOT into their portal. But if you have changes, I'm happy to hear them.
Where are all these documents and plans? I mean, I know the master plan and the open space and rec plan. Are these other ones like part of the master plan?
Where are you?
The same thing you're referencing.
Yeah, page 3, the sidewalk
The bullet
study,
points.
prioritization plan, bikeability study, Belchertown's pavement management plan. I know I have the pavement management plan.
Yeah, the walkability studies and planning, that's an old study, Walk Boston did that one,
Okay.
yeah.
my question is, and if I'm a member of the public and I want to see this online, understand where you're thinking about, making improvements, where can I go to see this? And who do I talk to if I want to contribute my 2 cents?
So that's a great question. I think once this is adopted, it would probably sit on the DPW website.
That's
and
great.
we can link it. As we move ahead with the prioritization plan and that process, that will be a much more announced. Those public meetings will be well announced.
Okay.
I think it would be, important that we get as many people here to talk about it. I've been putting it out there to people who, have questions. Someone has suggested a mid-walk crosswalk on George Hannum to near Lord Jeff to Stop and Shop, and that I'm not disagreeing. It's probably needed, but a mid-block is a whole nother designing, and so I said to this person, you know what? Please keep your eye out. Come to these meetings. We need input like that.
Mm.
How are we gonna prioritize the design, I guess? Who would do it? Would that be us or a combination of all of us?
It happens in the process. I think things get scored.
Okay.
I did this a long time ago in Palmer, and I don't really remember how we scored things, but they do get prioritized. They get priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the committee would do the bulk of the work for this?
Well, I
or-
don't, so the committee in the draft
Yeah.
is actually part of implementation.
Mhm.
I don't know that's a good question. I don't know when you want to form the committee, but, this policy creates a committee that then sort of oversees the policy, has the ability to review projects and deem them to be exempt or not, if necessary. That's a good question. If you wanted to create the committee and then that committee led the prioritization process, I actually hadn't thought about that.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. You have a 6 with nothing there, so you can add that.
I know. I just saw that as an edit. Scrap 6.
I was going to bring that up. The thing around, all of this is, the key is going to be communication, right? Does this mean that every street in Belchertown is going to be looked at? Or are you looking at priority areas and what, understanding what the criteria is, and what the focus is, so that the people in the community give you the kind of feedback that's going to be appropriate and clear?
Yeah, I think it definitely looks to more of our downtown spaces that that will fit into these sort of design standards. I mean, it addresses every road in town, but not every road in town is gonna need or meet these design standards. So I'm gonna look to VHB for guidance. You know, they've done these plans with other communities, so I would see them as being, you know, help in directing how we get through this. But I think, you know, getting the word out and making people aware of it, and hopefully they'll come and attend, will be,
Paramount.
yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so, you know, this is really a message of work with communications,
Yes.
so that we have the same message going out across the board.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you need us to do tonight?
So I would love a vote
Okay.
that you approve of the policy. And then, I don't know, do we talk more about the committee?
Well, I think once Mass DOT weighs in on whether or not they approve the policy, then we can form the committee.
Okay,
That would be my, so I think once we get notice from Mass
Yeah.
DOT that the policy's been approved, we can schedule a
and then we'll look
conversation.
with the committee to work with the prioritization plan process.
Sure.
Okay. I
Mhm.
mean, VHB is ready to, well, I haven't gotten the contract signed, but they're ready to go. Help us whenever we're ready. I think this would be a great winter project to, you know, start getting some feedback.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Belchertown Complete Streets policy presented by Linda tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any questions? Okay. This is great work.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank you very
doing this.
So next up, we have Kate Nadeau, who's presenting on the branding guidelines.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for making time to discuss branding. Talk about a big jump from streets to branding in 1 second. So, there's a couple things that I wanted to make sure that that we touched upon this evening, and looking to get some endorsement or guidance from the board as to where we go from here. So just to kind of recap briefly, because you guys don't have to follow the branding committee meetings. So we have completed our contract with Locality Studios. They provided the town logo, which the previous select board voted to approve, and we are slowly beginning to incorporate that and adapt that, putting that into full use, if you will. And they went through a number of revisions with the town seal, with Terry, in hopes of digitizing the seal as was outlined in the contract. Unfortunately, that wasn't able to come to fruition before the contract ran out. So we have a town seal, and we have all of the assets, obviously, from Locality Studios, the designer for the town logo. In our last branding meeting, we discussed, where do we go from here, not having a digital copy of the seal that we can use. And there was, some good conversation about it. Terry had talked to the folks out in Wayland, Mass. They had recently done the same thing. They had their seal digitized. She had brought samples for us to look at. Those were all really good. But as Nicole, who's our liaison, reminded us during that meeting, we had assured the taxpayers that we were not spending any tax money on this, which kind of put to bed the whole idea that we're going to go out and get a quote for this. So then Ed Knight, a member of the committee, had been working on playing with things, trying to get a seal created, but he's using a program that doesn't necessarily lend itself easy to digitalization of seals, or anything for that matter, if you will. It doesn't make scalable vector files easy. So then myself and Chris Martin, who both have a little bit of experience working with Adobe Illustrator, which is the gold standard for creating these pieces, had said, we're going to go ahead and take a stab at it. I had spent a little bit of time, I was out most of last week, I had spent a little bit of time working on it myself, sent over what I had to Chris. It's summer, Chris is on vacation now too. So we're working on it. Someone had mentioned in that meeting, wouldn't it be great if the digital version of the seal was created by a Belchertown resident, just like the original version of the seal was. And I can't speak for myself or for Chris or for Ed as to if we're gonna have what we need in the end. But in regards to the seal, we're working on it. One of the other important things, and one of the items that I'm bringing forward to you tonight that we discussed in that meeting, was the use of the town seal versus the town logo. And you should have in your packets a form like this. And we had read this over at the meeting. We didn't opt to take a vote on it, but it was generally understood that these are how we would draw the distinctions between where to use the seal and where to use the logo. A lot of the branding project and the branding guidelines, as you have in the orange packet, are on hold because we don't know which way to go. We don't have a set policy because we've never had a logo before.
Yeah.
And last week I was at the Massachusetts Municipal Communicators Conference, and I talked to my peers there after doing an online, reach out to them. And it seems that municipalities fall into one of three buckets where they're using on their business cards and their emails. So if they have a logo, they're using their logo on their business cards, emails, website. And then there's people that only have a town seal, and clearly that's what they're using because that's all they have. And then there's kind of like a middle road where I guess we were a little bit before, where they had like a colorized version of the seal or something a little less informal, and there were people that were using that too. So I'm here to, look for you to set a policy as to how we want to use the logo versus the seal. And I've outlined, the slide here, which, I can read if it's helpful for the people viewing, or
Sure.
if you want to read it, I've done a lot of talking. So the seal versus the logo, sorry.
Go ahead.
Belchertown uses two distinct visual symbols, a town seal and a town logo. To preserve their meaning and ensure consistency, please follow these usage guidelines, obviously subject to approval. Use the seal for official, legal, and government-related documents. This includes contracts, permits, and certificates, agendas and minutes for boards and committees, resolutions, proclamations, and formal awards, employee IDs if we did that, as well as any town-issued plaques or awards. Use the logo for public communications and outreach. This includes business cards, letterheads, and email signatures, flyers, newsletters, social media, the town website, signs, decal, and staff apparel. About emails and web content. Even though these must be archived and are subject to public records requests, their function is to inform and not to serve as a legal or ceremonial document. Therefore, use the logo, not the seal. Committee agendas. If a committee is appointed by the town and its meetings are posted and filed with the town clerk under open meeting law, use the town seal on its agenda, regardless of whether or not the members are elected or volunteers. One final rule. The seal and the logo should never appear together on the same item. This is common practice in other municipalities across the Commonwealth, and it is standard practice in state agencies as well.
Okay. Any questions? We'll open up for discussion.
I do, I guess. We all received an email from the town clerk that she wasn't informed with the policy or being brought into the policy with this. So I guess my recommendation is to bring it back to the committee and have the town clerk, all of you guys work together on it. So we
The
can
town
have
clerk was in
various-
that meeting.
Yeah, and so she approves of,
We didn't take a vote at that meeting, but she was in that meeting.
did
She's
she
on the
agree with it?
No one disagreed with it in the meeting,
Oh,
but I
Terry's
haven't
here.
been able to rewatch it.
Terry? Where do you stand with this policy?
Well, like I said in my email, I don't agree with the logo going on either emails or correspondence letterhead.
Mhm.
Those are official documents, and I think it should stay with the official seal. I did reach out to other town clerks to find out what they use, and the majority of them are using a seal on business cards. I only got 4 responses that were using the logo. One was using both, one on one side, one on the other. I just feel like these are official documents. Our emails are not informative. They are typically correspondence with either state agencies or other municipalities. If we are sending something out to a resident, it is usually a legal response that we're giving, and they are subject to public records law, and I feel like it just looks more professional if we're using the seal on our emails as well.
Okay. So your recommendation about emails is to use a seal, not the logo.
Business cards, letterheads.
Correct. So I did do my due diligence prior to writing this policy, and I reached out to those on the communicators mailing list, specifically asking only those that have both a logo and a seal to reply back to me, because it's really important to note that distinction. Many municipalities in the Commonwealth don't have both a logo and a seal, and those that have both are using the logo on their letterhead, business cards, and emails, and saving the seal for your tax bills, your proclamations, your formal agendas, your formal meeting minutes, all of that really high-level legal stuff, and keeping the logo more for your everyday communication, making the town more approachable, more friendlier, on the same level.
So
Go ahead.
I think that when we talked about this branding project to begin with, I think when we're talking about public outreach, which would include a business card in my opinion, I think letterhead and emails maybe, could be on the line, but I think all the rest of the stuff, I mean, we want to be presenting and using it to brand the town in public. So I can see the distinction between like internal and external.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. And I think business cards, for me personally, I'd rather have a logo on it than a seal. That makes sense to me also.
Mm-hmm.
I think the letterhead, I think it depends on what is the letter. And I think email that's less important to me. But I think a business card for sure. And I would agree with the rest of it. I'm not sure. That's just how I feel.
Whitney?
Letterhead is the one that I think maybe probably needs to keep the seal, but I do like the idea of the business cards being branded. I dare say also, when we're going through this process, I'd like our business cards to actually be a typical business card thickness, because right now we have been very frugal and we print them out on paper.
So to just address that one caveat, Maud has let me know that there's $2,500 earmarked through the Economic Development Legislative Earmark as part of her wayfinding small business and branding engagement. And $2,500 of that is to implement some of the logo stuff.
That's great.
And in the conversations her and I have had, we feel like the business cards would be a good place to start. If we opt to go with the logo, we can't do it if we're going to go with the town seal, and that shouldn't be the deciding factor because we don't have the vector image of the town seal yet. But if we do decide that we're going to put the logo on the business cards, she's earmarked that, and we would go through the process of finding a vendor and unifying it in hopes that everyone would have the same business cards and they would actually have, you'd feel like you came from someplace and you didn't run them off at your printer before dashing out to a meeting.
Yeah. I think that would be great. And that's all I'll say is I know that we have a lot of interest in really making our town more visible, branded, and looking for economic development. I think this would be a nice touch and a way to do that.
John?
I guess I could go both ways. I mean, I'd look at the business card as official town business. I mean, if I show my card, I'm John Ritter, Select Board, that's my title, and I have the little stamp here, we get these little cards, the town seals on there for everybody. That's like your pass, the rite of pass, if that makes sense. If you need to get somewhere, you have a non-seal and you try to present that to something, it's not gonna let you in. I mean, the town clerk is the keeper of the seal, so that, I would refer back to her for a recommendation and go with that. The town clerk is the seal keeper, so we have no control over it, in my eyes, so I would have to go with her recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
I can't oversee her,
Mm-hmm.
And my,
if that makes sense.
yeah, no, that does. I can see that. I kind of agree with what you both said in terms of letterhead. There are times when you're gonna need, depending on what it is, you're gonna need the
Agreed.
logo,
Yep.
and other times you're gonna need the seal. So it feels like there should be a policy on, you know, when do you use one and when do you use the other? And I'm not sure what that is. Terry, do you agree with that?
I do agree. Just from working with the town for so long, I can't even see where a document would not be a professional document, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I guess I would have to hear what types of letterhead or letters you would be talking about to use the logo on.
Yeah.
I guess I would need more information.
And I can certainly get that information.
Yeah,
I
that would
didn't
be
ask that
great.
question, but I can certainly ask,
Yeah.
you know, from those that are using both in their letterhead, where they're drawing that line of distinction. It's like we learned in our conference last week, like, reach out to everybody and see what they're doing. Like, you're not stealing ideas, you're all working together and trying to everybody get on the same page, so.
Where do you guys stand on the business cards?
Yeah, so like again, you know, when having gone through my own personal branding, right? Like you want, when you're handing out a business card at a or if it's for economic development especially, you want it to stand out. And if you're at a conference and everyone has something with a seal on it, it doesn't really, a lot of the seals look
The
pretty
same.
similar,
Yeah.
and the idea of having this logo sets us apart as like this is our identity. So for me, I feel like it should be on the business cards. Again, like I'm only handing out business cards at conferences. I'm not really handing them out to people who know who I am already, who like know, like, you know, I'm not handing it out to like Jake Oliveira because he's coming to our, you know what I mean? Like they're usually to people that I'm trying to entice to come to town for development, not so much for anything else.
Yeah.
If I'm handing it out. So I feel like the distinction for me is internal versus external. Like what is, you know, the internal processes of the town, like we're going, versus the external piece of it.
You can also look at it two ways too, because if there's a building inspector, you want the building inspector to give out the official town seal.
Yeah,
like this.
that's
so
true.
That's where you would need the official business
That's
card.
a
If you had the
good
plumbing
point.
inspector, you need
That
to
is
hand out
true.
the official, because you're signing the permit, you're doing
No,
this,
that's
the
true.
job, and that's official town business.
Is it worth asking those towns that are using their logo? Because remember, I specifically wanted to only hear from people that had logos in their towns. Is it worth asking for them, like, if they've had pushback from people trying to hand out, like, you know, the building inspector going out with a business card with the logo on it, or do they have something, you know, employee badges or something that we don't have that is helping make that distinction? Like,
You just brought up a new point too. I would like to tell you
No,
that.
no, I'm thinking about it now too.
Could we have both?
That's what I was just thinking. Like, could you have, like, with the seal, I know you said not to use them both, which is part of the policy, but could it have, like, where the name is, like, have the seal and, like, the back of the card have it, the logo?
I think that's a really good compromise, honestly.
Yeah,
And I think it would look really slick. But
yeah,
then we're back to waiting for the vector artwork
got it.
to get finished, which we can certainly do
I mean, we've waited this long.
this long.
Well, it also increases the cost, because now you're doing both sides.
Two-sided printing,
And,
yeah.
and God forbid you use color,
Well,
you know,
Yeah.
so, I mean, and that's what really makes it pop, is the color. But I agree with both of you. It is the pass that lets you in, right? It makes you official.
I get both
But I
sides.
also wonder if that's just old school, you know? Is that because that's what we grew up with, or,
Yeah, because
You
I
know.
have to say, I'm so glad you showed that, John, because I had completely forgotten I have one of those at home.
I have like 100 of them from every committee I've ever been on.
Completely forgot, but if I had an ID, I think I'd remember that, so.
An ID would be smart too, but that's a different.
I'm also thinking about, it's not just us, I mean, it's all employees, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
Yes.
And, you know, there is a definite need that they look official, but also friendly. So I kind of really like your idea, and I know we're not supposed to use it both places, but
It's definitely on
we
here.
want to come across friendly but professional.
So what I'm hearing from you is we need some more information.
Yes.
And that's, you know, it's good. The more information we have is the better the decisions we can make.
Mhm.
And I can certainly, you know, prepare for a month from now, because I don't think I could get it done before your next meeting in 2 weeks, but in a month from now, be able to come back and let you know, like, what the research has turned up, and, you know, hopefully in that time, you know, because Maud's put together a bunch of documents to start planning out for business cards, whatever they look like. So hopefully we can get some quotes or something by then too, and she'll know if this is gonna fit well into this, and additionally, if it's gonna be sustainable, to keep buying business cards at that rate. And to that end, like, I've already kind of polled employees, like, how many business cards are you using, and stuff like that too. So I have some of those statistics that we can work off of, knowing, like, you know, if we're gonna incur huge costs every year to print business cards, or if it's, you know, $40 every year or something like that. Those are two different conversations.
Yeah, I'd ask that you look at how can we do both?
Yep.
How can we be professional but friendly, approachable?
Totally agree.
May I ask a swag question, because the branding toolkit has some great examples? Is there any chance that we're gonna have this done in time to have printed gear available for sale at the fair?
So that's a totally separate conversation. And I feel like I'm taking up a lot of your time tonight. I do have some questions in the branding guidelines, but I also feel like they can hold for now as we work on figuring this piece out. Obviously, the town fair is less than a month from now. I don't have a budget, so it's not like I'm gonna be ordering anything to be able to sell at the town fair. Obviously, you know, if you buy enough, you can sell at cost. And that's something we haven't looked at, but, you know, maybe come Winter Nightlights Festival or something like
Okay.
that, we could
Yeah, I
be
mean,
in a better
I
place for
don't,
that.
I don't want this to be driven by a timeline. At least that's my opinion, but more, like, let's make sure we're
A
doing
purposeful
due
decision.
diligence.
Yep, we definitely wanna make sure it's a purposeful decision.
Get
so.
some shirts for the fair.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I really like that
Yeah.
water bottle and
Yeah, and the logo's just, it's really grown on me. I think people are
Kids,
excited.
kids.
We're
Sorry.
excited.
Do you have any other questions for me this evening?
Not for me.
Great work, great work.
Thank you.
And you're
To the
continuing to
committee.
work with Terry, right? Good.
Yep, for sure. We don't have another branding meeting scheduled,
Okay.
so I'm basically gonna tell them we had this conversation, I need to get more information, I'm reporting back to you guys in a month.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can maybe get a meeting on the books before then. Make sure we make it at a time when Terry, and Steve and Maud can all attend as well, just like our last one.
Could you bring a couple markups maybe of the business card, or
Yeah.
just the design we can present and just
Yep,
kind of see it?
Yep, I can definitely do that for the next month. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kate.
Okay, you want to cue Ed up?
Sure.
Here he is.
There's Ed.
I'm actually here in a non-town anything position for once, you know? Speaking of business cards, here you go, guys.
These are in
This is
color.
great.
How much do these cost? No, just kidding.
Oh my
$31
gosh, look at you.
for a hundred.
Oh, these are specific for the Quabbin days. I love it.
And they're in color.
Yeah, they are.
Boy, you really splurged.
Yeah, I really did, yep,
It's
We took the
beautiful.
picture.
I did.
I thought so.
Of course.
That is beautiful.
One of many. Well, appreciate the time.
Yeah,
Really do.
great opening.
Thank you very much. Quabbin Days. I'm here as a member, or on the board of directors for the Friends of the Quabbin, and talking about the project we've kicked off called Quabbin Days. This is the inaugural year for it. And the idea is twofold. One, to raise awareness about the Quabbin, not so much in this area, but Boston.
Yeah.
They all understand where their water comes from, which many do not. But also to promote tourism in this area as well. So what I essentially did is I've created what I call the Quabbin region, which are the 12 towns in the Quabbin watershed. They're Belchertown, Pelham, Shutesbury, Wendell, Orange, Athol, Phillipston, Barry, Hardwick, Ware, and I missed two.
I was gonna say, wow,
I missed two. And Peter's Ann.
okay.
Peter's Ann.
Yeah.
And there's one more, sorry. I missed somebody out there. But the idea is to kind of create this coalition of towns that would all benefit from being part of the Quabbin region. And also as part of it, I created what I call the Quabbin Trail, which is built on the Freedom Trail in Boston, same kind of concept. It's an 82-mile road that connects all these towns. And it's all on the website, by the way. To kind of create an identity for this whole region around here.
That's great.
It's something I've been kicking around the back of my mind for a few years, decided to kick it off this year. And the board, Friends of Quabbin, adopted it and said yes. And the idea is we serve as a catalyst for things to happen during the holiday weekend of October 10th through 13th. We as an entity aren't going to be doing it. We're not going to be putting on anything. What we want to do is encourage other towns to do things. Now, the fact that it's during the holiday weekend, a lot of towns are already doing things. So it's not like they have to do extra stuff. But some are. For example, Cineo of the library deliberately put on, has scheduled an event that weekend because of this. We're partnering with DCR, and it's their busiest weekend of all. And so they're not doing anything special. They're just going to put that stamp of Quabbin Days on it, to add to the visibility on it. But it is serving as a mechanism to encourage people to do more. I think, did the press release go into the packet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I sent that out to the Quabbin Region Media, Worcester Media, Boston Media, to again try to raise awareness about it, get information out there. I'm going to keep beating that drum to try to get more PR out there about it. Let people know that this is happening. And it's kind of one of those mom and apple pie things. Everybody I talk to is like, well, yeah, you know, who says no? All the tourism bureaus for each of the counties are on board. All the chambers of commerce are on board. I'm building up a coalition of towns. I only have two right now. Belchertown, thank you, and Athol are on board with it. But I want to keep building on that. I'm starting to do what I call the roadshow, where I'm going out and meeting with various towns and businesses to try to promote it, get them on board with it. I'm also taking photographs that I'm using on the website as I go around. I'm learning a lot. I didn't know anything about Phillipston, for example, a little town like that, going out there. So it's really been pretty interesting going on this roadshow and doing it. I've also applied for a grant from the Mass Cultural Council on it, $5,000. They're voting tomorrow. The downside of that is it's going to come very late in the process, you know, if we're lucky enough to get it. And I'm mainly using that for signage and promotional stuff, things like that in there. But given this the inaugural year, I'll be better planned next year of a better timeline of what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, promoting it, getting the word out there and such. So I just want to let you guys know about it. Don't really have to do anything, don't have to vote on anything. Just help us spread the word on it, that this is happening. And like I said, we just want to get more and more people. I met with the Franklin County Chamber of Commerce, and she asked me, said, what's your metric for success? And I said, it'll be like running a marathon. We did it. You know, that's what it's going to be for this year. We did it. Next year, you know, I'll use the momentum we get from this year to build on it and make it more. So I really just wanted to let you folks know about it. That's really what it comes down to. And answer any questions if you do have any.
Questions?
I don't have a question,
Sure.
but I'd like to meet with you about it because you know I can't help myself.
Help yourself.
Also, I don't know if you're aware, but the BCA had a project with the town of Ware. They were developing an app, about the Quabbin region.
I'm not familiar with this.
And
Who's-
the
who's-
app
who's-
never, well, the BCA is, unfortunately, has dissolved at this point, but I don't know where the app is in development. They were hoping to finish out that project as part of the dissolution of that entity. So I'll find out more information about
Sure.
that. But also as someone who has, in very short order, pulled together events like this, I have ideas already for you, so.
My question is simple. Did any of those news outlets pick up the story?
Not
Have you
yet.
seen it? No.
Press release just went out 2 weeks ago, August 7th. It went
Okay.
out. Not yet, but I
Okay.
will poke them every now and then,
Yeah,
see what we can get out of it. I'm certainly hoping the regional media, like the Sentinel, will pick this up
Nice plug.
and run with it, you know. I mean, I've heard from a few, this is great, you know, proof is in the pudding, let's see it in the paper,
Yeah.
you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But again, nobody's giving me any pushback on it. It's a mom and apple pie kind of thing. So.
Cool.
I appreciate all your work you're doing. It sounds like you're doing a lot by yourself, so it'd be nice to like build from us and build a committee from each town, or a representative from each town would be great.
Oh, yeah.
To move forward.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
a little
the-
scavenger hunt or something, and like,
I mean, the tourism bureaus really love it. They think this is a great idea,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
They love
yeah.
the concept going forward with it, you know, so.
Well, let us know if there are ways that we can help.
I'm working on a logo right now. Do you want to hear that?
Maybe not tonight.
You probably had enough of that.
Okay, thank you so
Yeah, it's
much.
great.
Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Good night.
Okay. Steve, you want to queue up the next one?
Certainly. So we are on discussion action items. 6A is an update on the healthcare insurance financial impacts. On page 27 of your packet, there is a spreadsheet that our town accountant prepared for tonight's meeting. It was emailed to the school committee, select board, and finance committee last week. I believe that this mirrors what we had discussed at our special meeting, our special tri-board meeting. There is a 60-40 split, as well as a 50-50. I think John had asked for some additional information at the end, whether or not we wanted to go to a 50-50. So Jill has put both of those scenarios together for you for your consideration. Obviously, we're going to be bringing this up at the next tri-board meeting. She also prepared a scenario 3. She did confirm that we could use some or apply some of the expenses to the OPEB account
Okay, we can.
for the retirees. What we didn't discuss is how that would be paid back, if we're gonna put extra in every year or just slowly go into it. She used an example of 100,000 coming out of OPEB. We could take more. I would recommend that we take less. We really spent a lot of time trying to at least build a little bit of money into that account, and it shows that we take putting those funds aside seriously. So while I don't have any heartburn about taking some money out of there, I don't know if 100,000 is the right number, but I think that's a conversation we can have on the 8th with the tri-boards. Either way, whether we take it all out of stabilization, 50 or 60% out of stabilization, or a lesser amount with some out of OPEB, those are our savings accounts. That doesn't directly impact the taxpayers at this point. Putting the money back is certainly going to be a priority for me, and that's why we have savings accounts for these types of emergencies, so I'm okay with that. The other thing I have, before you hit me with some questions, is Joanne, our HR director, was back in the office today. She did reach out to the executive director at the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust, Joe Shea. As the board is aware, he is scheduled to be here September 2nd. Currently, we have a light agenda on the 2nd, so we're going to allow a lot of time for that conversation to unfold. She specifically asked him about the 2024 audit in the scheduling, and he did say that that was in the works. He's reaching out to the auditors to find out what the schedule will be. He said the 2023 audit was completed in the summer of 2024, so I guess we're sort of in line with years past practice. But he is aware that that's a concern, and I'm not sure if he's heard anything from other communities on that. So that is the update that I have for tonight. So if you have any questions, feel free.
I do. I see Mr. Dude over there from Pathfinder, and I didn't even think about this during our meeting. Or is your insurance affected from Pathfinder? No. Okay. I just want to make sure that's clear. We didn't get any. Thank you for that.
Any other questions for this?
No, there was more articles in the paper though. I don't know
Yeah.
if you noticed that. South Hadley had an article in Mass Live. Joe Shea was in front of their board
Yes.
last week.
Yeah. And what was that? How much was that?
1.2 million.
Yeah.
I guess, Mr. Duda, do you use Hampshire County insurance?
No,
Do you
we're
use
Hampton County, so it's different, and obviously for other employees, we use the Maya Health Network.
Gotcha. Another option, I guess. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just to the comment that you made about the audit. I mean, I work with a lot of nonprofits. It's not unusual for a lot of nonprofits to go in extension, and then they have until November. So it's actually not that unusual that they haven't completed it yet. But that's just my opinion.
I was thinking that we might want to write to Joe a letter that he could put in writing and then talk about. And it actually goes back to public comment, but that would be framed something like, since the trust's audited statements show negative cash flow from in 2022-2023 over 12.7 million, and this revenue decline continued through December 2024, when the trust decided to drastically increase prices starting 7/1/2025 by about 20%. During this waiting period, the trust's reserves continued to lose at an increased rate, and now the trust is again raising rates, as well as discussing a contingency plan for just in case the trust dissolves. Why did the trust wait so long, putting community employees' coverage at risk? How can our community be assured the trust will be solvent moving forward with the changes that they suggest? And what do these contingency plans in case of failure look like? Will they include ensuring our employees remain covered by quality health care with uninterrupted access to care? Does Belchertown now need to come up with our own contingency plans? And also, why the management letters from your auditor from 2020 to 2023 mentions the trust does not have a bookkeeper nor an accounting method that tracks both income and expenses? Would better tools have foreseen this issue in advance of it becoming an immediate emergency? I feel like if we put that all in writing and send it to him ahead of time, there's no, I don't know, I'll have to get back to you.
Can you send me that, or?
Yeah, I can. And
Take it from the tape.
I mean, at the end, the costs are the costs, but understanding what happened from 2022 on up to now, and whether or not this is what we want to continue to use, given that they have mentioned, absolving this.
Yeah, those are good questions. We can either take it off the tape, or if you can just email it over. We'll
Yeah,
make
no,
sure that-
I will send this to you, but I wanted to have it on record, that these questions were raised, and have him directly answer those.
Perfect.
along with a lot of other questions that I'm sure we'll have.
So on September 2nd, are we gonna do post like finance committee, school committee, we're gonna invite them just so they can ask questions? That's my question.
Well, we're meeting, the tri-board meeting is on the 8th.
He's coming into a regularly scheduled meeting?
Yeah, one of our regular scheduled meetings, right?
Yes.
On the
Yeah.
2nd?
Oh, yes.
So we're gonna invite finance committee, school committee, so they can ask questions.
Absolutely,
We can invite them. Yeah, we're still gonna have it here.
Yes, yeah.
yes,
And my other question, are we gonna allow public comment or questions to him? or-
Absolutely.
Okay. So we'll-
well, we allow public comment
But are we
at
gonna
the beginning
direct,
of the meeting.
for like, have the public ask questions directly to him? Is that gonna be something we're gonna entertain? Because I think the public might have an input
Yeah.
that this is not my expertise. Maybe somebody with insurance expertise shows up that lives in town, can ask them a question, and we might, I'm not getting a screening match, but at least ask a legitimate question.
Could we have them submit questions in advance? Because they'll probably be similar questions repeated in different ways.
I don't know how that works out.
Steve, what do you think?
Well, I think the chair has the authority to recognize people from the audience during a discussion. So if you want to open it up to the floor, I would suggest that you might want to be thinking about some guidelines for that ahead of time, like, you know, I'll entertain a few questions, I don't want a lot of repetition, you know, those kinds of things. You can also tell people at the beginning, if during the public comment portion, if they have questions that they want answered, you know, we'll take notes and we can work through that as well.
Oh,
So
that's,
I think we can accommodate this.
yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's good for the taxpayers. They voice their opinion at this point, and this is probably the guy to do it at, not so much the town, but this is where the issue is.
Absolutely. It's, now the question really is, do we do it during the regularly scheduled public comment period, or do we keep questions specific to him, open it up for public comment again?
Well, I think any questions from the audience would be addressed to the chair,
Okay,
just like we would do with town meeting, that people address the moderator.
okay,
And then it would be up to you to whether or not Joe should answer those questions. I think it, as part of the dialogue with the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust, I don't know if it's just gonna be Joe or other people. But
well,
I think people can also ask questions at the beginning.
that's what I'm saying,
Mhm. I
is,
think they could do both. But
okay,
again, you know, even our public comment period at the beginning is not intended to be a dialogue, it's a listening session.
just to listen.
Right,
That's
but the
true.
board can take notes and ask those questions of Mr. Shea.
Well, how does the board feel about it? I know I can do it, but I'd rather get your input.
I think you should allow it, the public to speak. That's just for a couple of minutes. Don't let them go for 3 minutes, but at least ask a legit question, and you go to the back of the line, the next person asks a question. You kind of just make it to 10 minutes or something, just on that issue of insurance.
If we have the ability to pose questions to him, I do like the idea of collecting them in advance, because then we can even tell people who want to speak, say, we're already anticipating asking these questions. Because I don't think that they would want to say something that's going to be repeated anyway. They'd want something unique.
Sure. Oh, Whitney said. I like the idea of collecting questions in advance.
Yeah, I do too. Can questions be directed, where should questions be directed to?
Sounds like I'm collecting questions.
I can have Kate put something out,
Okay,
Yeah,
and we'll see what comes in between now and.
Okay.
and
sure.
That'll mean that we'll need to put a communications out that this is going to be discussed, and,
Mhm.
you know, public comment questions need to be submitted ahead of time. Develop a timeline that you think is appropriate.
At least 24 hours.
Yeah,
On that note, too, I'd also like to hear from the employees, if we can have maybe Joanne reach out to employees and see if they have other questions attaining to the employee side of the house, because it does affect them, and we should,
It's true.
teachers too, so if you can get some, sorry, Ms. Cameron.
I just want to give you some feedback that we learned from. If you're adapting the policy that we have, then people are going to say to you, your policy is I can come here and speak, not send questions in. And we tried that one time, and it just, some feedback is it got kind of messy. That my understanding is your policy is the same as ours. 10 minutes of people asking questions, and then Heidi will jot down the questions and then ask the person who comes.
Okay.
I just don't want you to be in the same
Oh, no,
boat
thank you, I appreciate
we were
that.
in when we
Yeah.
said, okay, send them in, and then someone said, well, your policy online said I could come here and I would have 3 minutes to speak and ask my question. So I just wanted to throw that.
So when you have a specific person that you want, like in this
Yeah.
case, do you do 15 minutes of straight up public comment and 5 minutes additional or 10 minutes, like, how do you do that?
It's been varies, but we've been going back to the public comment. It's, I believe, 10 or 15 minutes, and it's the first 10 people to sign
Yeah, it's
up.
yeah, we have 15 minutes.
Yeah,
3
and
minutes
she always
apiece.
asks that someone has already asked that question or spoke, don't get up and do the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so-
it's 15 minutes, doesn't matter who the question is directed to?
Right, and they'll direct it to the chair,
Okay,
the board,
okay.
and then you would kind of keep questions, and then you would direct the questions to Jim.
To Joe?
Yeah.
If
Not
it-
saying you have to, I'm just.
No, I mean, we're following your lead, so,
But I'm not sure how you want to do it, but we got a little messy for us too when we said send them in. Not everybody knew about it, and then it just turned into.
well, yeah, this communication's gonna have to go out fairly quickly.
Okay.
I agree, I mean, it'd be good to get everyone's opinion. I'm just concerned that 15 minutes is not gonna be enough.
I mean, she has extended it to, okay, I'm gonna allow 20, 25 minutes.
Okay,
I think too, also you'll have to get a read of the room, you know, if a lot of people show up or.
well, why don't we stick with 15 and we reserve the right to go an extra 5 minutes? You know, if there's a line.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay with everyone?
Perfect.
Thank you, Brian.
No, that's helpful.
Okay. Can I ask you one more question? Are you voting on, as a school committee, what you want to see? Like we talked last time, are you voting as a school committee? I know we're meeting on the 8th.
Yeah,
Are you voting as a school committee, though, this week?
I'm not sure. All I know is tomorrow we're meeting,
Yeah,
and I'm presenting how I'm gonna come up with the cut of the 40%,
mhm,
which I think was $237 for me. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna play out what that would look like. I don't know where we're gonna go from there.
well, my question, if it isn't obvious, is do we support what came out of the tri-meeting? And do we want to, as a board, knowing that we're going to do so again on the 8th, but give an early indication of where we stand with the proposed solution?
I guess I'd like to see where the cuts have to come from, both the 60 or the 40 or 50%, if that makes sense. Like, what does it look like if you have to cut for the town is 120,000 for one and 96,000 for the other? Like, where are those cuts going to come from, and how drastic are those cuts? Does it make sense? I would like to. I guess I would like to see a presentation for both school and town.
Is that our purview, or is that your purview as the town manager? I think it's yours.
Well, I think my job is to present the budget to the select board, so it's a little bit of a gray area. And let me back up. Using the word cuts, we're basically transferring money from one area of a budget into another.
Mhm.
So if we use the word cut, it means cut from one place and add to another. So we're transferring. school committee does not have to go to town meeting to do that. The town budgets have to go to town meeting to be adjusted, to be transferred. That's a big difference. So when Brian presents to the school committee, they have the final say. I can present to the select board and the finance committee. I would prefer to do it that way because we have to go to town meeting and the finance committee is certainly going to want to make a recommendation. So while I can start gathering those thoughts, it would probably be best if we held off until the 8th. I could have it ready for the 2nd, if that's what you would choose, but I think the 8th would probably be better. And then we can see what we're going to do, whether we're gonna go 40-60 or 50-50, what level. There's also a few other things that we're trying to look at, whether or not we can find any additional funding from other sources. So we still need a little bit of time to do that as well. One of the big questions is there's extra money in our overlay account for the assessors, which is what we use for abatements, and if we can get our hands on some of that money, we might be able to offset this a little bit more. So having a little bit of extra time would be good as well, but I think I am certainly going to make a recommendation to the board. I just think that, we should try to work together on this, obviously.
Okay.
So, but if the board just wants me to make a presentation at town meeting, but ultimately somebody's gonna say, how does the board feel about this? How does the finance committee feel about this? So it's really something that we need to, focus on together.
Yeah, I just wanted to give an early indication, but
Yeah.
perhaps premature.
Yeah, so the other thing I should warn the board about is, Monday is over. I am on vacation next week, so it's gonna be tight that I would have this ready for the 2nd.
Right.
So the 8th would be a lot better for me.
Understood. Okay.
Ms. Kramer, could you present by the 8th, or
I'm presenting tomorrow tonight.
will you have your stuff for everybody for that board by the 8th, or?
Yeah. Just clarification, was it decided that we would do 50-50 that night too? Because I only walked away with the 40% for the
Yeah,
schools.
I thought
I
it
asked
was,
for a second option, just to.
it was 60-40,
And I
I
asked for
thought.
50-50 to see what it would look like. That's why
Yeah.
Steve presented it tonight.
But I walked away with 60-40.
Okay,
So.
yeah,
Do both.
thank you.
Is there a reason to do both?
I would like to see what 50-50 looks like. I'm not sold on 60-40, I'm not sold on 50-50. I just don't know where those transfers are gonna affect and which accounts are gonna affect. If we can take less money, it'd be better. If we can make the possibility to make it work. I'm not sure if it would. if it can.
Well, and it also comes down to whether or not we wanna use OPEB funding as well.
Yeah.
Because that makes a big difference.
Oh.
So,
I mean,
Can you
I-
send this to Brian?
I think we can, I think we could,
you have it, right?
What's that?
I think we
The
could
analysis?
use it.
Oh, from Jim?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we could use it. To your point, maybe not 100,000, but if it's going to help our ability to provide services and keep people employed, yeah.
Mhm, okay.
I mean, does anyone disagree with that? Okay.
I don't disagree. I'm still in options, I guess. I just don't know what it looks like at this point until we get a presentation. Like, I'm gonna transfer from snow and ice to this. I'm just using it for example. I'm not saying that's the answer, but
Mhm.
because I don't know, you could take 10,000 here, 10,000 here, and it might not affect us very much at this point. I don't know that.
Right.
No, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying, we can do OPEB. Are we in agreement on that?
We could, or we could just take it all from stabilization too. I'm not disagreeing on. There's many options. I guess it's just
So what I'm hearing is you want lots of different options presented.
to make the best choice. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't think we disagree on that.
Yeah, and that's where it gets a little dicey for me, because what am I aiming towards? Same thing with Brian. Are we looking at cutting 100,000, 200,000, 250,000? So having some clarity on direction is something we'll need to have. But for now, I can start looking at what the impacts are, worst case scenario.
And I think that's what's going to,
Impact ourselves.
obviously,
Impact our decision.
that's how we're gonna know which way to go.
Okay.
So I'm not saying come up with 15, but, you know, what are the top 3?
I think, well, we have these 3, can you
Or
have
4.
answers to these 3 scenarios that are in this packet?
Yeah, I'll work on something, but
Yeah.
my goal is going to be as little impact as possible. So
Right.
it's gonna be shaving anywhere I can instead of a major blow to any one department.
All right, anything else on that? You all set?
Good,
Okay.
thanks.
All right. Want to queue up B?
Sure.
Appoint select board member to the Williard Stebbins Trust Fund?
So this is something that, as part of the will from the Stebbins family to the town for the maintenance of the Lakeville Cemetery wall, we're required to have a committee made up of representatives of our historical commissions, as well as one member of the select board. It's not a big lift. Currently, there's $3,560 in the account. If a request comes in from our DPW to repair a fence, then the committee would have to convene to approve it or disapprove it. But otherwise, there's not a lot that goes on with it, so if somebody wants to just volunteer for that. I believe in your packet, the original information is in there on page 28, when the money was actually given to the town for that purpose.
Does anyone want to step forward and volunteer for this?
Oh, isn't Jen Archie the liaison to the historical?
To what?
The historical
Yeah.
committee? I was wondering.
Are you nominating
I was
me,
gonna
John?
nominate you, because you're already on the historical.
I'll take that nomination. That's fine.
I'll second
liaison.
it.
I didn't wanna put you in the spot, but I was
It's
thinking
totally
this was right up here.
Who did the second?
I second.
Was there an actual motion?
I'll make a
Are
motion to
you
nominate Jen Turner to the Williard, what is it? The
Stebbins.
Williard Stebbins Trust Fund.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
This probably would have fit under discussion. How long is the term of this again?
Until she,
Till she
Until I die. No, I'm
requests
just
her
kidding.
own money to the town?
until the next election for her.
Congratulations.
Almost 3 years.
Okay.
So we won't have to talk about this again,
Okay.
at least for a little while. 6D, excuse me, no, C.
See.
C.
Appointment of election workers. So we have a request in the packet on page 30 from Terry Camerlin requesting that election workers be reappointed. We have precinct coordinator Claire Partridge, precinct wardens Teresa Adam, Burnett Daly, Erica Morrison, Rezitsis, close enough. Carol Walker, no disrespect on that. Precinct clerks, Christine Babineau, Donna Butler, Colleen Butler, Melissa Conlon, Michael Martin, and Andrew Rome. And that is for the period of September 1st through August 31st, 2026.
Do I hear a motion?
We have to repeat what Steve just said. I make a motion to appoint the election workers as outlined by our town manager for the period of September 1st, 2025 through August 31st, 2026 for the town of Belchertown.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
One discussion,
What?
one discussion point. I
Yes.
was just curious, with all the changing over from town manager to town administrator, or from town administrator to town manager, that doesn't fall under you? I'm just curious.
No, because of Mass General Law, Chapter 54, Section 12 trumps the, yeah.
Okay, making sure, that's all.
The first line right up
Yeah,
there.
okay, gotcha.
John, did you mean about how it says town administrator at the
No.
bottom?
Yes,
If it was a
so I
typo?
wasn't sure.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, that should be town manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
that's a
I'm
good
sorry.
point of
So-
information.
Did we do all in favor?
Not
Aye.
yet, we
Aye.
have a conversation.
Okay, great.
Aye.
Okay, now 6D. This is the mileage reimbursement policy. Currently, we reimburse our employees when they use their personal vehicle. I was surprised to learn that there's no mandate that we follow the IRS rate. However, if we don't, the employees are eligible to claim the difference on taxes. It's a very complicated formula. It's better that we just simply start paying at the federal rate. We don't have a formal policy in place at this time. We should have one that either says, we're gonna follow the rate, we're gonna allow the town manager to follow the rate, or we can simply vote tonight to follow the rate, and then every year have to adjust it. The proposal that is in front of you is to simply follow the rate, so as it changes, we would automatically just follow it, so we wouldn't have to keep coming back to the board, and that's what I would recommend we do.
Open it for discussion?
Yeah, this looks appropriate.
I appreciate that you're doing this. I had a conversation with a town employee a few months back, and I heard what they were currently being reimbursed, and it was well below, so this is appropriate. I also appreciate that the policy outlines that there are some requirements, so
Yeah.
you can't use a town-owned vehicle and apply for mileage reimbursement. That feels fiscally appropriate.
I agree, just the date has to be changed in the package from July, or does it have to be August at the very end,
Oh, yeah, we can change that.
before we sign it? But I think it's just Lisa that signs it, right?
Yeah, just the chair, so we can have a corrected copy for you and you
Yeah.
can stop in.
Can
I'll
I
stop in.
actually,
Yeah, of course.
challenge you on that, John? Wouldn't we wanna sign it for, effective July 1st for the fiscal year?
Retroactive.
At that way, if anyone maybe
Well,
did some travel on like
but
July
that means you have to-
27th.
We would have to retro people.
Yeah, exactly.
We should retro, isn't it in here that it's, I thought it was a retro.
It just says the policy is approved and is effective as of.
As of, yeah.
As of. So how many reimbursements did you process in July and August? Probably not that many.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna retro it, we
I
can.
think we should just retroactive it to July 1.
I feel like it might be cleaner to stick with the full fiscal year.
Yeah.
Well, depending on the vote, this might be it, right?
I'm fine with retroing it.
Excuse
I'm fine with retroing it to July 1. I think
Yeah, I am
we
too.
owe the employees.
Is that a heavy lift for you? Okay.
Or Joanne does the reimbursements, doesn't she?
Town accountant's office does reimbursement.
Okay.
So I move we adopt the employee travel mileage reimbursement policy as outlined in our packet, effective July 1, 2025.
So are we following, are we gonna change it every year? Are we following?
No, it's the policy has it,
The policy has
sticks
it.
to the
Oh, I'm
IRS
sorry.
standard mileage rate.
Okay.
It'll adjust automatically. We don't
Okay,
change it
good.
unless we wanna revisit the policy.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I make a point of information or clarification? I have noticed that we have begun leaving out discussion in the proper Robert's
Thank
Rules
you.
order.
I
so
will.
just want us to keep doing that.
Please keep doing that.
All right,
and
6E, we have a request from our fire chief to allow the firefighters to not only march in the parade, but to fundraise in uniform. Fire department has a Friends of group, the Belchertown Firefighters Association, that's their fundraising branch. But in order for them to wear the town uniform while they're fundraising as the association, they need your permission. So this is an annual request, it's never been a problem. So I would recommend that we approve both to allow inclusion in the parade and fundraising.
I
Any
make
discussion?
a motion. Okay.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to allow the Belchertown Fire Department to solicit donations and participate in the parade on Saturday, September 20th for the fair weekend.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
Yes. I just have to bring up that I have 2 kids that are part of the junior volunteer firefighters, and it doesn't affect my vote. So I just want to publicly state that.
Nice.
Okay.
They're not members of the department, but they're just the junior volunteers, so
Okay,
public knows.
that's good. Any other? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did you capture both in your motion, the parade and the
Yes.
uniform? Okay. Thank you. 6F, this is a request from our Fair Committee to place signs on town property. They are planning on putting 3 electronic road signs up. This is for traffic control. They put them up in advance of the event so that people know when the event is going to be and know to avoid the area, so it's not just the day of the parade or the event. And then they have a lot of other signs that go up. These are all informational signs. It's traditional. Nobody's ever complained about them, so I would recommend that we move forward with this as well.
I have a question. Do we use those electronic signs? Who owns the electronic signs?
So the town owns one, and then they borrow 2 from the Hampshire County. Post office.
That's how it is. Okay. I was just thinking, boy, why don't we use all 3 all the time? But okay.
I make a motion that we allow the Fair Committee to put up their electronic signs on town property.
Do I hear a second?
Can also include the 4x8 fair sign.
In the 4x8 fair sign on the common.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just had one point of clarification. There are no dates listed here.
You don't know when the fair is?
No, know what the fair is. I don't know when the signs are going up. So are the signs going up a week in advance, a month in advance, a day in advance?
They're gonna start going up pretty quickly, so,
They started going up already across town, like on private property. So the other signs come in usually like a week before the fair, like the big electronic signs
yeah,
come
those,
up. Start warning the public of like the parade, detours and that stuff.
Well, Whitney brings up a great point. Do they have a set time that they do that, or do we have a policy for not just the fair, but
well,
any event?
they have a time frame. I can get that for you,
Well, it would
just
just
so
be
you have for your own information.
Just a point of information, yeah.
I know I'm being a little stickler about this, but I think it'd be helpful too to know when they're gonna remove them. In case, perchance, a week after the fair, they were still there, we would have something to point to and say, it's supposed to be gone by now.
They typically
they're pretty
remove them
good.
24 hours
Yeah.
after the fair. They're gone
But-
right away.
Understood.
Oh, that's a good point.
Since we're trying to work on our sign policies.
I'll bring it up to them too in their Fair Committee.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good to have a set amount of days beforehand so that we can point to the policy and say,
Yeah.
per the policy. And it doesn't look like we're favoring.
Well, this is a town committee, it's not a private organization, so we do want to work with them a little bit, probably closer than we would with other groups. But John's right, typically about a week ahead of time, the electronic signs go out, the 4x8 sign and all the wire signs that are going to be placed around. Some of those are already popping up on private property. It's marketing and advertising as well.
Yeah.
So the policy is that a week before an event, anybody that's doing an event, they get a week ahead of time.
It depends on what the board wants to do. So you have that discretion. Usually it's a little bit less than that.
So the sandwich board, you can reserve that for a week prior to an event, usually. It's just,
But I imagine they'd like these up longer than a week.
I don't know that they do actually.
I think usually
They
the
don't
fair one goes up
usually.
like around Labor Day weekend, somewhere around that time frame, like so it's almost like 2 weeks before the fair.
The
just
big
to get-
4x8 sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like around that time.
The poster boards are already starting to show up in different places.
Well, I'm picking up on Whitney's point, you know.
Yep, so I can get you a schedule of
All right.
placement.
So we're not gonna vote?
Of course we're gonna vote.
Oh, okay.
But
No, I
it-
didn't know if
it's-
you wanted to wait for the
I
date.
mean,
No,
they would
no,
put them
no.
up tomorrow, I wouldn't say no, I was just curious, so that we
Well,
had
it's
awareness.
more, I like the idea of, you know, that we would not, that this would affect the vote tonight, but, you know, maybe we take that up as an agenda item so that we can provide clear guidelines
Yeah.
on, you know, when people can promote their events, you know. And again, it's fair to everybody, including the fair.
The timeline's perfect, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll get you
maybe
one.
that can go on as a separate item since it wasn't on the agenda tonight. Is that okay with you, Steve?
Yep.
Okay.
Are we
But
voting?
for tonight, do we want to take up the vote?
I think there's a motion on the table, isn't there?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
What's the motion again?
To allow the fair committee to put up their 4x8 sign in the common and their 25 flyer signs and
Okay.
those, what are those thingamajig, the big electronic signs?
Electronic road
Yeah.
signs.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it. For
All
the
in
second
fa-
time.
All in favor? Oh, excuse me, further discussion?
That was the discussion, so,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
With the understanding that we'll take up, the policy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point. 6G. So in your packet, pages 36 through 62, is a very lengthy application to our ZBA in response to our building inspector denying a building permit on, or at the end of Munsell Street here in Belchertown. Late Friday, we received a summary from Mr. Albertson, our town planner. Which changes my recommendation in the packet. I had originally said if the board had no concerns, you could just remand this back to the planning board, but the planning board has now acted on this application and made a recommendation to the ZBA that they deny the request to have that overturned.
Okay.
So I would ask the select board to do one of two things. You can either vote to support the planning board if you choose, or not. Or you could make your own recommendation to the ZBA to either approve the appeal or not. I am going to recommend strongly that the board vote not to support the appeal, that you vote to deny it, based on the fact that this has been an ongoing issue dating all the way back to 1908. If you read Doug Albertson's letter, the road was discontinued in 1908, and it was never, there was always some question about where those locations of discontinuance occurred. It was described as between the cemetery and Sylvester Smith's homestead, his foundation, where his house used to be. So it was a little bit loose. We knew exactly where the cemetery is. We still know where that is. However, the location of the foundation was in question, so the South Gulf Road end changed, but this end has been fairly well-known. But portion of it was developed in the past, which raised some questions. But there was a very definitive end of the useful public way. And there was a bunch of different legal maneuvers that took place over the years. In 2020, an appeal was filed about where the road was discontinued. In 2017, there was an appeal filed in court. And in 2020, the ruling came back in favor of the town that the point of discontinuance is where it is shown on the plan that's in the ZBA appeal application. So with that being in our favor, the planning board has now voted to support not granting the appeal, and I would ask the board to do the same. So in Doug's summary, it says the planning board recommends that the ZBA not grant the appeal and not overturn the building commissioner's denial of the building permit. So I think that's what we need to do tonight.
Okay. Are there any questions about this? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we stand by the planning board's decision not to grant the appeal.
Second? Is that,
Is that,
Is that the
can we
right way?
just say that? Okay,
Yeah, I don't see why not. So you're
Okay.
basically supporting what the planning board
Yes,
said.
absolutely,
Yeah.
okay. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Did you have discussion?
I was just going to add that this is just not an area of expertise of mine, so I wish that I had more intellectual knowledge on the matter in order to contribute, but I don't. So I do feel that
Yeah.
would have to remand it
It's
back.
mostly about the road not being a public way, and if it was, then the town would have to maintain it and take care of it up to where the lot is, right? That's my
Yes,
understanding of it, yeah.
But anyone can build a private road and build a.
No, they'd have to go through a subdivision process.
Yeah.
and the
Okay.
planning board. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, Whitney, I didn't
Oh,
step on
it's
you.
okay.
She was quiet over there.
It was quiet.
Oh, well, I was just reading through this, pouring
Yeah.
through it and thinking.
It's
this
a
is not
long
the moment
process.
to become a
Yeah,
board of
and-
appeal expert.
Yeah, and just because,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot here,
Yeah.
but that's what it really distills down to.
Okay,
Yeah, as a side, I've been with the town since 1993, and the 2020 decision, when I read that, I felt that that was the end of this story.
And yet,
And here we are again, so,
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens. But,
so never say never and to.
6H is the endorsement of the final documents for the sale of Franklin School. These have been prepared by KP Law. They were vetted by the buyer's attorney. And it's the final step, well, other than the closing date, which is September 9th, and recording of the documents and cashing the check. We're almost there.
okay.
That's the good news.
We got there's a correction on here, it says vice, not even chair, I don't know if it's spelled, just if it's,
Oh, yeah.
Shai.
It's vice chairee instead of vice chair.
if it's a legal document.
Yeah.
Vice Cherry.
It's kind of fun.
You know
Not
what?
legal, but fun.
Little panache.
That is not in my, oh, no, it is, I'm sorry.
We can still make a motion and
Yeah, we can still do that, we can sign it
yeah,
later.
and
Come and sign
if
it in the office, right?
We can go by the office or something and sign it, or can you just,
Where is that, John? Just so I don't
It's
know.
the
Last page.
signing
it's the
page,
last page.
the
I'm
signature
gonna highlight
page.
it for you.
You wanna see mine?
I mean, I'm sure legal counsel looked at this, so it's probably.
Yeah, it's a Scribner's error.
Yeah,
We can fix
I
that.
don't think that would hold up
Okay.
the sale.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we sign the deed over to make it official. To Robert Molesky,
Wait a minute.
265 North Washington Street.
All right, can you start again?
I make a motion that we sign the deed to transfer over, what is that, Franklin School to Robert Molesky of 265 North Washington Street, Belchertown.
Do I hear a second?
I'm struggling with the
I
motion.
know. And John, thank you for
What
doing
did
it.
I
I think,
forget?
The address of the property.
I think we might have to
No,
use the
he just-
address.
Didn't he just say
No,
it?
that's
Said
that's
the name.
Molesky's
Oh,
home
yes,
home
sorry.
address.
Okay, let's try that again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There is no address on
So
it.
I'm gonna make a crack at it. Is that
Yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
John?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I move we endorse the final documents for sale of Franklin
Okay.
School property to Robert Molesky with an address of 265 North Washington Street, Belchertown, Mass.
Do we hear a second?
See, I wasn't sure if we could actually call it the Franklin School, because that's not really what it is. Can we?
Well, it would
That's
be
how it
better
was
if there was an address.
Advertised.
That's his address.
Is this not 2
So that's-
Jabesh Street?
No,
265
no,
North Main
it's not 2
Street is-
Jabesh Street.
It's his address.
2 Jabesh Street is the town's address. The actual
Okay,
address
right.
is Franklin, something Franklin Street.
Oh.
Well,
Well,
isn't
720 Franklin.
720 Franklin
Okay,
Street.
there
So
it
the
is.
address of Franklin School is 720 Franklin Street.
Okay.
So
But
if
to your
you-
point, Jen, it actually says Franklin School in the document.
That's how it
That's
was
what I was looking
advertised.
for.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
advertised in
Okay,
that
okay.
way.
Do I hear a
If you go to
second?
page 63,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on
the
63.
way that the deeds are written, the address is on the left-hand.
Ah, thank
Look
you,
at
Sue.
that.
720 Franklin Street. Okay.
But it does say Franklin School, so that's probably fine.
All right, you're gonna second.
Yes, I'll second.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Whit.
Further discussion?
No.
Hearing none?
Who
All in
seconded that?
favor?
I did.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Oh. We get punchy around the 2-hour mark.
Well, you know,
Well, it keeps it interesting.
It does.
okay.
All right, where was I?
Daughters of the American Revolution.
6I. We have a request from the Daughters of the American Revolution to approve a proclamation for an event that they're hosting.
Yes.
We talked about this at the last meeting. Does anyone have any other questions or concerns?
No.
Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Make, where is it?
I'll touch it, Jake.
I make a motion that we support the Daughters of the American Revolution to have the Belchertown Select Board Proclamation of Constitution Week on September 17th through the 23rd of 2025.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's just do it.
for her
She's punchy. All right. I heard an aye.
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 Okay.
All right.
I didn't have dinner before I came. This is my fault. This is my fault.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
What are we doing now? Goals and objectives.
Goals and objectives.
Would it be a strange request to say if we could jump ahead to whatever item Mr. Duda's here for, so that we don't have to keep him here all night? No. Okay.
What? Let's make them stay all night.
All night.
I don't mind, whatever is.
I just picked up some
Actually,
peanut M&Ms. If
Thank you for pointing that out. Is that okay with you, Steve?
It's executive session.
It's
Oh, it's
executive
Oh, it's
session.
executive session.
Oh.
That's right.
So,
Sorry.
yeah,
Let's
sorry.
continue.
Thank you for being here.
That's fine.
No. Well, we love having you here.
Happy to be here.
All right, back to goals and objectives.
All right. Where was it?
How do you want to start this discussion?
So, over the last 2 weeks, I've taken the list of goals and objectives, and I've inputted dates as best I could. I've been meeting with department heads over the last 2 weeks, trying to work out some of the logistics. It was a little bit difficult because not everything can be done at the same time, so some of it's gonna be done sequentially.
Yeah.
And not having the board's priorities, it made it a little bit difficult, but I know that we're gonna be updating this quarterly, so I don't know if we really wanna spend a lot of time on those dates. If you think something is a higher priority and should be bumped up a little bit faster, we can certainly do that, but it's up to the board how you wanna handle the dates that I've inputted. Last week, I sent an email out Friday with this document. The HR dates were missing. Joanne was not in the office, so I worked that out with her this morning, and I sent you a revised document today. I have that up on the screen now. And I also failed to realize that we had 3 collective bargaining agreements coming up this year
Right.
Yeah.
that Joanne's gonna be part of. So we need to include that because I think we're gonna have a pretty heavy lift this year with everything that's going on with health insurance. I think those
Yeah.
negotiations are gonna be ongoing for a while. I would also like to point out that depending on what happens with health insurance, could severely impact the HR category in our goals and objectives. If for some reason we have to switch from the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust, Joanne is going to have to process 300 plus enrollment forms. So we just need to be paying attention to that could be a little bit of a showstopper for some of these
Sure.
these items. So I just want to get that, on the table so that we know that as things evolve with the trust, we might be looking at this. And again, I know we're going to be back here talking in a couple months about progress on this, so I can update you as we go.
Yeah.
So it's really up to you how you want to go
Well,
through this.
Could I can I ask if you just
Sure.
give an overall, what you think of the goals that we've presented, and does it make sense to you? Just to get an overview.
I think it's an aggressive list. It's certainly something that we're gonna work towards completing. There's always gonna be some changes, I know that. I think everything that's on here is appropriate. Achievable is a function of areas where we need funding, if we need a grant, if we need consulting services, if we need legal intervention. Time is always a big issue. Again, not all of these can be done at the same time. Some will have to be staggered. You know, for example, I'm not picking on HR, but there's only one person in that department.
Right.
So it's gonna be hard to push the number of items through one office,
Yeah.
in that sense. I know economic development is a priority for the board. It's the first goal. I've already started working with the town planner and our communications director to start working on a lot of those initiatives. I think there's some things in here that are a little bit dependent on other agencies like the EDIC and mass development. So there's nothing that I'm afraid of. I think that we're gonna learn more as the process goes through and we have our quarterly updates. A lot of things could change, especially on what we're focusing on. So, we need to just be aware of that.
Well, the one thing I'd say is that I don't think economic development's gonna change. And I think that is represents the biggest shift in goals for you and by extension, all of the departments. And the other pieces, I feel like, is you're not unfamiliar with that. It's more, we need your leadership around economic development. And we can't have volunteers doing, basically owning economic development. We're never gonna get it off the ground without the leadership of all the departments and, of course, you at the helm. When I look at HR, there are some things that it's gonna, the contracts are going to happen, with DPW, police, and firefighters, and how you want to, to your point, given the health insurance issue, it would be good to know from your point of view, if it can't be done, what can be done and what can't be done, what's achievable and not. Because if it's simply not achievable, then that doesn't set you up for success. So that's when I would come back to you, and I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but they're supposed to be achievable.
Well, how do we wanna,
Well, tell me what's not achievable,
given
given
do we
the
wanna-
health insurance.
you wanna start in HR tonight, or do you wanna start at the beginning?
Only because you brought HR up a couple times, I feel like since we've brought it up, let's look at that.
All right, well, we can start at number one. It's unlikely that we would be able to finish all of the non-union employee job description reviews over the next 10 months.
Okay.
So
What is achievable in that? We're looking at the finance department.
we're looking at,
I'm just thinking, like, what would be achievable?
Well, I can't give you a number or a percentage.
No,
It's-
no, maybe a department or 2 departments or,
Well, what we do on an ongoing basis is as vacancies occur, we review the job description, we update them. We've identified some positions that we want to look at. So it depends on the workload. We can do as many as possible during that period, but we have to remember, we have to go to the employee, we have to go to the department head, we have to go through a review through my office. Joanne has to go back and forth with these, so it's a pretty big lift. So
I'm just
we're just
wondering,
gonna keep
of
working
course
on
you
it.
do that as people leave,
Right.
but can one department
Yeah.
get,
Mhm.
can that be a goal?
Sure,
Can 2?
yeah. I mean, we,
You know what I mean? It's like, what is achievable? And let's set you up for success.
well, I guess the question is, were you looking, was the way that this is written is it says complete and implement a comprehensive review of non-union job descriptions.
Across all departments.
So is there flexibility in that, so we can report back quarterly and say, we've done these? Or are you looking, do you want me to say we will do 10 between now and July 1st? That's what I'm trying to
I
gauge.
don't know, what's the
That's
Personally-
measurable.
Personally, I'd rather we report back every quarter and say we've been able to do 3 or we've done 2.
Right.
you know, But,
what I'm hoping for, if we have, is to be able to at least say one department.
okay,
And then any folks who leave, but at least it's a beginning.
okay,
Um,
so we can focus on a department. What, the,
And whatever department you think needs to be, take precedent. What do you think of that?
so I also want to mention that we annually apply for grants to bring somebody in to do the whole bunch. That's been, hard to find. And the community compact program this year was not funded. We don't know if they're gonna fund it late, but if it is funded, we're gonna try again. And that could change this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying let's say we don't have great luck, because we haven't had great luck in this particular area. Can you do 1?
Sure.
Okay. Is that okay?
So we're gonna change it to like, say, one department at a time?
Well, I'm just saying
Or
for the
when a
whole
vacancy-
year,
Or when the vacancy comes open, that,
Well, we do those automatically.
okay.
I'm just saying, in addition to that, is 1 fair.
As a starting point, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
If we can do 2 or 3, we will.
if we get a grant, fantastic.
Right. Okay, so at least 1,
Yeah.
got it.
So we just put in parentheses at least 1.
What?
Do we wanna put in parentheses? We gotta change the goal then.
He's writing,
Yeah.
he's doing it.
Okay. I wouldn't know who's.
He's walking and talking at the same time.
Okay. Where were we? Reviewing union job descriptions. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to be going into negotiations. So the expectation is we can't even start that until we have a contract in place. So the contracts are due 6/30/26. The last round of contracts were all almost a year late because of the negotiations. So I put 6/30/26 on here. We will work with the unions to get that in there on their radar. And at that point, we can begin with those as well. So I think we need to just wait until we have some agreements with unions before we try to set a.
But again, considering the health insurance issue,
Right.
It's supposed to be achievable. What's achievable?
Is that rhetorical, or are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Until we have buy-in from the unions, I don't know what's achievable.
So this
That's a
may not
TBD.
be achievable this year,
Right.
Right.
maybe for next year.
Yeah.
So, and that's why at this point I just pushed it out.
But this is what I mean, it's
Mhm.
like, it's not set up to, like, be pie in the sky, it's supposed to be achievable, and maybe
Right,
we do
yeah.
wait
Mhm.
until next year.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to leave it on the list so we don't lose track of it, but I
Sure.
just, push it out.
I just have a point of question. Are we gonna go through all 6 goals again tonight, and line by line like this?
Oh, goodness.
Continuing? I'm just
We'll be
trying
here
to,
all
I'll be
night.
here all night, so I'm just
Well,
trying to figure out what the plan of attack is,
I
sorry.
agree.
I mean, this can wait until our first update. I can tell you where we are
Well,
with things.
what I wanna get to is a vote tonight.
Yeah.
So, I'm in agreement with John that, this needs to go more quickly. In the 2 weeks that you've socialized this, it would be good to get recommendations from you about what's doable and what's, what we need to consider waiting on. So that we can get through this in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, if there are goals that you feel fine about, that's good too, but I do think, we can't, it'll take too long to go through each one. I mean, what we did is we laid it all out.
Right.
So now it's really time for your response to it. And also, like, if you're not sure about something, then we can talk about it.
Well, I thought there was 2 things going on tonight.
Okay.
One was I was setting dates, and 2, the board was gonna come back with priorities.
Yes, we can do
It
that.
sounds like the prioritization now is being turned back to me. I did not
No,
prioritize any of these.
that's okay.
Okay.
We can do priorities
Because-
overall.
I don't think the expectation, at least as I stood it, was I was going to complete 68 items.
Right.
That's why I asked for priorities, so I could work on your priorities, and if other things fell off because of the priorities, we could discuss that at the quarterly updates,
Okay.
so that I could say,
No, that makes sense.
right.
So why don't we pivot then to what the priorities are? Tell me, you tell me.
Well, I think the number one priority for human resources is actually not on this list, but we talked about that, the health insurance piece. We have to, Joanne has to stop everything to focus on that right now. But it's not on here. But then outside of that, at least for me, I think the priorities then are completing the human services study. And the union contract negotiations. Those are like the top priorities that have to be completed this year.
I was gonna say the contracts for sure, because that affects the budget.
Exactly.
Without the contracts, we can't, the budget, we can't establish the budget. So the faster we get that done, the better position we'll be in as a town.
Yeah.
Jen?
Are we doing it tab by tab?
I
Well, we're in HR, if we could finish that one, and then I go
Yeah,
back to
let's,
the beginning.
let's finish this up.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. The rest of this stuff is, it's like nice. Some of these you have the dates, and they're going to be completed regardless of prioritization here.
Yeah.
So it's, beyond what Whitney and John have just said, I want to keep doing the professional development stuff.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
But that,
Yeah, that was a priority last year,
yeah.
and.
And now it's happening, right?
Right.
So,
Right, so it's just tracking.
right,
Continuing practice.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So we can prioritize that and leave it on, make sure it's happening for another year,
Yeah.
and then decide if we're gonna.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't.
John?
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about how to speed this up, and are we looking for a percentage? We're gonna go through each tab, and I guess let's just look at HR. There's 12 goals we set, and now we're gonna set priorities of 3 of them or something. Is that what we're?
Well,
I
right
guess
now,
I'm confused, kind of like
what's on the table is the priorities for,
But what makes the priority of the contract over goal, I'm just talking about goal 2 and we want him to do, or we wanna do the MAC agreement for police department. I don't know, I'm just throwing out there what makes
it the priority?
What makes it the priority? I mean, can we go through and pick out 10 top priorities of each, out of all this whole thing, or are we just gonna pick some from each goal? I don't know.
What would you
we're-
suggest?
I don't know, so I'm new to this, I'm trying to understand it more.
Well, I think it's new to all of us. This is a
Yeah,
whole new
It is,
format.
to all of us.
And I think what I've been trying to say is, let's get headed in the right direction, or a direction.
Yeah,
And in a couple of months, when I come back, we can evaluate where we are with things. If we need to adjust priorities, if we need to take things off, put them on, delay a year. This is all new to all of us, so I'm not surprised that, we're having these exchanges, because we haven't lived this yet, so.
no,
I'm willing to work with the board if you're willing to work with me, and
I guess my recommendation would be, do we set these goals as written? And are you okay with that? The goals that are written, are we all okay with the goals that we wrote out, and all of them? Do we wanna, I read them all again, I don't wanna change any of them separate, are we okay with it, and we can move?
well, so, yes and no. I like all of them. But what I like about what we're doing right this minute is, like if there are must-haves that need to happen, like for that goal to be robust and feel like, okay, we did those things, we weren't able to do the others, that gives Steve a direction on, under each goal of what things are most important to us. That doesn't mean that the other items are not important, and if they can get done, yay, that's great. But from what Whitney and Jen, I haven't said anything yet, but what they've said is, these particular points are the ones that if you're gonna attack this, these are the ones we want to see first. It doesn't mean the others don't happen, but if they don't because there's simply not enough time to do it, it gives Steve an indication that he's going to be okay in that area.
Yeah, what I would hate to do is, I decide what to start with, and then something else falls off, and then you say, well,
That
we
was
would have
really
rather have you
important.
do this
Yeah,
first. Because not
exactly.
everything can be done at the same time. Some of it has to be
Right.
sequential.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
How do we know though, like, how are we gonna color code them,
what is
so we don't lose
success
track, like,
criteria?
in 8 months, I'm not gonna remember what we talked about, like, I'd have to go back and, are we gonna star them, like?
How
Well, I'm
about if we-
highlighting the priorities
Well, I was
now.
gonna say, how about if you put them in red or something?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, and nothing goes off the
Gotcha.
list.
Yeah,
Okay,
but these are
that's-
just the priorities.
So I'm happy with priorities in each of the 6 areas.
Okay.
And then I know, because oftentimes it's different departments doing that work.
Yeah.
So those things can happen at the same time.
Yeah.
If there's areas of overlap, then, I might have to say we gotta push one or the other, but that's why I said if we could just, a couple of priorities in each one, get us started,
Yeah,
and then we'll update it accordingly. I mean, we're already halfway through the first quarter, so your first update's gonna come quicker than you think.
yeah. So, are we clear on human resources?
I feel
Steve?
good about it.
I'm good with it.
Okay. All right. Can we go in order now?
But do we still have to vote on accepting these goals
Yes.
as written
Yes.
before we label the priorities? Because we're gonna label priorities, but if we haven't voted on the goals, we have to accept these goals, then vote on the priorities second, right? Or do we not have to do that? I'm just trying to understand.
Why don't we go through it, because there was, like, in economic development, I did have a question with one of them. Item number 16,
16.
yeah. That almost sounds like item number 2. Maybe combined into one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could.
So I'll just make note of that.
Because that's just one, yeah, you're right.
I mean, clear permit information could very well be a step-by-step permitting guide. Should we just strike 16?
That's what he's suggesting.
Okay.
So we'll combine that one with 2. That's all the comments I had on that one.
Okay.
I don't want to be here until midnight, but I had some more thoughts. Tell us how you really feel. Objective 2, number 4. Is this really an attainable? I know Steve has put March 31st, and I guess I asked Steve, I should ask you the question, not the board, but is this really something that you can do? It sounds like it could just be a huge amount of time to maintain an inventory of available commercial and industrial properties. And is this a value add?
Well,
we talked about this?
what I'm worried about is
Or what, second meeting?
how do we define, I did have a thing about clarification. I wasn't gonna bring it up tonight, but how do we find available? Are they
Oh,
properties that are being marketed? Because if I was a property owner and somebody knocked on my door and said, hey, I wanna buy your property,
Right.
and I found out that the town listed my property on a website for available, I probably wouldn't be terribly happy about that. So my thought was we just simply look at, we work with the local real estate agencies and then
Right.
we are duplicating what they have.
But then
I
is
don't
it,
know
would
if
it
that's
just,
proper either.
just that we just have a link to the MLS, because then everyone has access to the MLS, otherwise you don't want to have favoritism with a certain realtor.
That's what I'm afraid of. So I have the same concerns. I didn't know how big of a priority that was, so I wasn't gonna spend any effort on it tonight, but
Yeah,
we have no definition of what available is.
right. I've just thought about it a few times about, there are some things on here that I think you can really do this year that could make a big difference and, push back on me, anybody else to my right, but I don't know if this is the thing.
well, I think understanding what's available, and that needs to be done, because there needs to be an owner of that understands this is what's available right now. How we define available, I think that's a good suggestion that you've made. What I'm thinking with that is one-stop shopping. So if I might be interested in a property here, I want to be able to go to one place rather than kind of hunt all my sources. It was suggested that we let the realtors know, and that is one more place that realtors can, showcase the property. I think that's great. The larger indexing of what could be available might be I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, well, I wanna, we need to have someone who knows that information.
Yeah.
It can't be a catcher's catch can.
So, my plan, and there's other items in this list
Yeah.
that I need clarification on. My plan is when I'm ready to start working on them,
Okay.
to bring them back to the board to say, these are the questions, these are the clarifications, and work through it.
That's
And
fair.
if we decide to move forward or retract, that'll happen during those timeframes. Again, we're not gonna do all of this at the same time, so there'll be opportunities for me to come in. So I did have the same concerns, but I don't have a lot of heartburn about leaving it on the list for tonight,
Okay.
just so we
But
can get through
you
the
can
conversation.
understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, the town manager should know that this is the property that is available, and should have a working knowledge of what could be available.
it could be available is a different thing.
I
But
know.
again, I don't know if that's something we want to publicly advertise.
No, we don't, but I want you to know it.
Yeah, but and to the point about having a resource hub website for businesses, if it's something that we do well, they may just volunteer, like, I'm going to sell my property, I'm gonna turn over this lot, put it on your website, so it might come a little more naturally.
Well, the point of this is to create some buzz and make it easy for people who might want to invest in Belchertown or, otherwise buy property here.
Yeah, or move
That
to
we're very,
Belchertown.
like our branding says we are, that we're friendly and open and easy to work with.
You know, the problem that I saw, and we're getting way into the weeds already, I did some online research, and LoopNet was one of the sites. There was only one commercial property listed in Belchertown.
Well,
We know that that's not true.
You know, Zillow, LoopNet, and the MLS. So when I look at this, I'm having a hard time with it too, but I don't think we need to spend all night on this one item.
Well, that's a problem if we only have one.
right, so then it is.
But, you know,
That's not robust.
unfortunately, that affects a lot of the items on this list, because we can solicit developers to come to Belchertown. If there's no available spaces for them, it's gonna be tough.
Right, and this, so, sorry, and I'm struggling with the whole framework, but what I would say is, like, economic development is a high priority, and, like, we already know that the strategy needs to be to recruit and aggressively build relationships with developers to build infrastructure in our community, and I feel like that's it.
Well, if we don't
Everything
know-
else on this list is like, but
if we don't know
what I'm
what
trying to
properties
say,
are available,
but what,
how
yes,
are we all pointing to the same one
but
piece?
what I'm trying to say is, yes, we already know what parcels are available that are, you can literally drive down 202 and you could see the signs, right? So it's just like getting those realtors to just feed it into something. And then I think, like, for me, again, right, like, if I was blue skying this Lisa, like, that's it. Like, relationship building to get developers into town to, like, build infrastructure.
So are we back on,
And then,
are we
like,
back on priorities? Is that what
But,
you're
like,
saying?
for me, that,
No, it's,
but, like, the
but it's also
pieces.
zoning.
Well, yes, and
you know.
yes, and the planning board is working on zoning. So it's like, all of these little steps are great tools and assets to help build into it. But at the end of the day, for me, the top priority is what I just said, right? Like,
Which one is that, Jen?
I don't even know. Attract appropriate new businesses and investments. I don't even know.
I'm sorry. I would
Relationship
not-
building.
Yeah, that's important. That's hugely important.
Right.
But what's also hugely important is to support and retain our current businesses.
Yes.
Because they've already invested in us.
Yes.
And also, we need to work on permitting and zoning.
Right, and that lies
Yeah.
again with the planning board.
But again, Steve works
In
with
conjunction
all the
and partnership,
departments
right?
and
So
the
it's about
committees, so-
relationship building, and it's about like taking the economic development strategy as outlined by our board through Steve to all the department heads and filtering into everyone buying into the initiative of economic development as a strategy in the work that they're doing in the departments.
Okay, but can we agree?
I don't know how to say that.
Sounds like that should just been the goal.
I don't know how to, like, for me, that's like number one. So, but that's just me. So,
Okay.
So building relationships. You had build relationships and partnership development with local, regional, state, and federal housing organizations, but you
Right.
didn't specifically say that would.
Well, we have a couple of ones. You're looking at number 18?
Yeah.
Okay, but there was also a housing roundtable.
Yeah, I got those.
There was,
Let me back up. I highlighted one, which is listening session.
yeah.
We should do 2 if you wanna do outreach to businesses.
But also, you know, are you going through objective 1, 2? So
Yeah.
if you're doing objective 1, the, number 2,
Mm-hmm. Yep, I got that one.
okay, that's the one that I think,
And then I had objective 2, item 5, collaborate with planning board for zoning. I heard somebody say zoning. Marketing materials under 8.
Right. So you can hand out those business cards with the logo.
you know, the other thing that you're doing, because I know it's already under discussion, so might as well, is the pop-ups and sheds.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then the permitting, licensing, zoning, all of that.
Mm-hmm. I think I got that.
You also, under objective 6, I mean, you're already doing 25 and 26,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know about 27.
Well, that would be at the next town meeting, so
Yeah.
I think I can just report back on that.
Okay.
We're doing 23 already. And 22. And we're working on 21, so those are ongoing projects.
I know Linda is very interested in the Tree City USA,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know if that's something that she could take on.
It is, I guess I would like to give her some space on the complete streets policy first,
Well,
and then,
that's 11, right?
and then we can,
No, yeah.
I can
Yeah.
update you on that, and then when she finishes that up, we can,
That's great.
oops.
And then along with these priorities is all the communication that is behind that. Website,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
press releases.
All right, it looks like we got quite a few priorities in economic development.
3? I think there's more than that.
I got 14 out of 26.
Oh, you have 14. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's great.
Okay. Public safety. Item 1 is ongoing. That's the finalizing the hazard mitigation plan. 2 is in works as well. The chief is actually already looking at number 3 for you,
Okay.
so we can highlight that. He's also working on number 4. John, you wanted number 5, the impact certification as a priority?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I was just using it for example. Sorry.
I already spoke to the police chief about number 7. He's willing to take that on.
What about 6?
The chief is willing to take that on, but it's behind some of the other stuff, the AEDs and the master plan, and
Okay.
so we can bump that up as part of the updates.
I think we're gonna keep 8 on there too, that's sports
Well,
haven
it's,
thing.
it's already happening. You just want to spell Sports Haven right.
Oh, yeah.
And 9 and 10 are all also ongoing.
It's all related, yeah.
So,
And number 10, we haven't heard from the state yet on the plan, so we don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the MVP 2 people, I'm
Right.
one of them, so, you
So
know,
once we know more, we
Yeah.
can revisit
I
that
mean, that's
one.
gonna just go on,
Right.
so.
Goal 3, the communications plan is in draft form. The communications committee has it. We need to get that wrapped up.
Conservation.
Item number 3 is a high priority for me. We are looking at a grant to try to get some assistance with that.
Okay.
Item number 4 is already in the works.
Yeah. Number 5 is important. It's an area that we get complaints about. So,
Yeah, 5 and 7. We are currently working on, the Capital Improvement Planning Committee is gonna be issuing their,
yes,
fall work. A lot of what we need to improve the experience for people is equipment related.
right,
In our capital improvement plan,
Yeah.
we have a caveat that a certain amount of available funding should be spent on technology.
right.
So Esther and Kevin are working on getting equipment lists together for capital request forms, so that should help.
Yeah.
That's why they're to be determined, because the process hasn't started yet with the capital
Okay,
improvement planning
all
committee.
right. And AI is being tackled by Communications Committee right now.
Yeah, I've been
And with
working
Kevin,
them on
right? Isn't Kevin on that too?
that. It's myself, Kevin, Kate, Communications Committee,
Perfect.
yeah. A lot of people are on that. So that's pretty much everything in
Yeah,
tech. We already did HR. Item 5, finance. Forming a government study committee, that's a long-term project. Getting the committee together, there's a lot that has to happen. This is something that's probably a 2 to 3 year process, from committee to recommendation to whatever. So I can certainly get a committee together sometime this year.
yeah.
That's all we ask. Get the committee together.
Is that something we have to, like, just, or is that you just form the committee and come to us?
Let me report back on that, 'cause
Okay.
it's pretty complicated. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna talk about the financial forecasting tool in my updates, but I know that's a priority for the board. It's overdue.
Is 3 even a possibility, given the health insurance?
I won't know until January when we see the numbers. So let's
Okay.
just leave it on there. There's other positions that
Okay,
we should be talking about too. It all depends on what we have for new growth, free cash, what we have for available funding.
okay,
So I know, I have priorities with trying to get more hours for a communications director. We have, a lot of needs, so we'll have to balance it.
hey, I don't even like to ask the question, but, we were blindsided by this.
4 is in works now, and so isn't 5. Both of those, we need some guidance from council. And that request has gone out, so.
But I feel like this one's really, this goal is pretty doable, outside of 3, because we just don't know.
Right. And then 6, which is, if we can jump into buildings and infrastructure. Number 1, we're just working with the capital planning committee. Number 2 is already in the works to complete the fire department living quarters. Number 3 is already funded, so that's just getting it done. That's the Town Beach parking lot. Number 4, I will be initiating that process pretty soon.
Cool.
So we can prioritize that. Number 5 is already ongoing. We're already talking about
Yeah,
where we can put things. Number 6 has already been started. Number 7,
yeah, what about 7?
well, that's, at this point, that's likely part of, which is the reuse of the area from the family center.
Okay,
That's That's probably already part of number 5, looking for areas for
Yeah,
additional recreational space.
Mhm.
We could put a soccer field in that area.
That would
So-
be great.
And the nice thing with a soccer field is if in 10 or 15 or 20 years we want to build a building, then we would find another place for the soccer field and move on.
Okay. Pathfinder?
Yeah, we're out, I guess we'll talk about Pathfinder in a minute here.
Mhm.
I'm gonna double highlight that one, how's that? 'Cause and then the feasibility attached, so yeah, all of these are,
Yeah,
we don't need to prioritize these, they're all doable.
okay.
So we're through the list, so
Great.
I think we should get into the weeds another time, probably through updates, so I can learn a little more about these objectives before we start trying to pick them apart. If that's okay with the board, and I know time's of the essence, so
Okay,
I'm comfortable if you're comfortable.
I am.
Okay.
Is everyone comfortable?
Mhm. Yep.
So, can we vote on these tonight? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the goals with the priorities tag marked, or on this sheet Steve has, as the goals and objectives for this year. Right, is that correct?
Well, the goals and objectives are, none of them have changed.
Well, other
It's,
than,
it's the priorities.
Yes.
That's the only thing. So this is the same document.
we did eliminate
Well, we did,
one of the economic
Yeah.
development ones, but I
Yeah.
have notes on that, so.
okay. So, yeah, 2 and 17 or whatever are the same.
So
But-
as amended.
Yeah, so it is the same, it's not, it's not the one that he's been updating, that's just priorities. So, the reason why I say that is because we've all seen this, and so we're adopting what we've already written. The only thing that we're changing is, well, not changing, we are simply prioritizing items within each goal.
So how
I don't know what the motion is.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
restate
that's
Well,
the problem.
My
I'll
problem
pull the
with it
motion
is
back.
he was saying, well, whatever Steve wrote up there, that's what we accept, and I'm saying, no, that's not.
He's a master sheet.
All right, so I make a motion that we accept the goals and objectives as outlined
Yes.
over the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Do I hear- Second? Further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You have goals.
And
Yay.
objectives,
And objectives, yeah, and some priorities.
maybe.
Okay,
9:00.
okay.
All right,
Town managers report.
moving right along. Signed warrants as usual. We are now having regularly scheduled Sports Haven infrastructure project progress meetings.
That's great.
We are hoping to have some shovels in the ground this fall. We're gonna be scheduling a ceremonial groundbreaking. So bring your hard hats. It should be a good day. I have, as stated earlier, been working with various people on our AI policy. Today I got a draft from council, so it's been forwarded over to the Communications Committee.
When do you expect that we'll see something about that?
A
Are we at the
recommendation back from the,
beginning? Are we midstream?
well, we have a draft
Okay.
of a policy from
Okay.
council, which is what I received today and forwarded to the committee.
Okay, great.
It's, I don't know how long it's gonna take the committee to
That's
review it,
fine.
so.
That-
I'll probably know more at the next meeting because I think they're meeting, the Communications Committee is meeting this week.
Okay,
And Kate was gonna get them the draft policy, so. But I know they've formed some, they've paired up to avoid, any open meeting law violations. So they have people working on different topics and then they're gonna all reconvene, to work out any final details of the plan. I was at the special meeting for goals and objectives. I was at the meeting, for branding in the town seal. I did attend a rural check-in with Ann Goby. It's a regional Zoom meeting. I've been meeting with the HR director over some employee issues. I attended the EDAC meeting. The tri-board meeting, I've been meeting with department heads. I had a meeting with Eric Duda, the superintendent of Pathfinder, as well as your own superintendent, about some future expansion of programs. Reviewed the purchase and sale documents for Franklin School. I attended National Night Out. That was a good event. I met with Cliff McCarthy, a local historian, about the preservation of the Cold Spring. He has the what he believes is the location of Cold Spring. It is on state property, and he's been working with the state to try to gain rights to it, so that the town can preserve it as a, natural historic feature.
I mean, the actual source of the spring?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
So I asked him if it added any longevity to our lives if we drank from it, but he wasn't sure yet. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you.
If we're still here in 100 years.
We're gonna have to rebrand. We're gonna start all over if that's the
But I
case.
just wanted to bring it to the board's attention that, there's some talk of whether it would be a private organization or if the town would take, some rights to the property, if the state would give them up so that it could be preserved and accessible as a tourist location, everything we're striving for in our economic development.
That's great.
So when you hear more about that, I don't want you to be surprised. And then I did attend the Friends of the Greenway, the Belchertown Friends of the Greenway meeting to discuss the status of the MCRT. I had to leave early, so I don't have a lot of information on that tonight. But I think they are moving towards, trying to make some changes to the project to help expedite that. So stay tuned. And
So
then,
you'll bring that one up again, maybe in the next meeting?
yeah,
Okay.
I do have a request to set up a meeting with some of the members of the Greenway
Okay.
individually, so we can kind of kick things around.
Right.
Next meeting, again, we have Joe Shea coming in.
I will forward you that, what I
Yes,
read.
please.
Okay.
I also tentatively had a legislative visit scheduled. That meeting's 2 weeks away. I had asked the board for some questions. I know health insurance was a big one, but that's all I got. I'm a little hesitant to try to reach out to them to get them here in 2 weeks, unless we know what questions we want to ask of them other than health insurance for tonight.
Is
Otherwise,
it possible we could send you questions?
yeah, if you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So between now and September 2nd, if there are questions you want to ask Jake or Aaron, forward them directly to Steve. If our questions are similar, you can combine them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get them out here. Their schedules fill up quick,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if not, I'll push it off till the September 16th meeting, I think it is, or 15th, the second meeting in September.
Okay.
The second meeting in September, I also tentatively have scheduled the town accountant to come in to do the DLS forecasting tool demonstration.
Oh, good.
I was trying to align that with the DLS to do the presentation on the 2025 financial audit. So I'm hoping to put those two together. So if I can do that, that'll happen. If not, then we'll push it off another meeting cycle so we can get everything together. I think that was it that I had for, those are the high points of the next meeting.
That's great. Thank you, Steve. Review of weekly mail. Does anyone have anything? No?
I think we covered a lot of it tonight, just let everyone know, like the fair stuff came up, election worker appointment came up.
Okay. Individual board members' reports. John?
Oh, had a busy week, or a busy 2 weeks. I'll try to go quick, I know it's late. Attended the select board meeting obviously on 3 August, 4 August, in person. Then I had 5 August, I met with the fire chief. We met about staff issues, the fire department upgrade, and what we're waiting on is the sprinkler system to be upgraded. So the sprinkler company's behind, and that's not anything we can do, but Pathfinder's waiting on that part so they can finish. So everyone's waiting on the sprinkler company to finish that project. And Pathfinder's doing a great job there too, so I want to give the credit to the kids. If you haven't been up there, met with the fire chief, and then you talked about the alert system. The communication is all tied in, so the residents can log on and get all these reports, things like that. Fire alarm going off or an accident somewhere. If you sign up for this stuff, you can pick in each one which you want to be identified for in the system. So I encourage all the residents to log onto our website and sign up for the alert system. You can pick and choose kind of what you want to be.
Where is it?
It's right on our website. It says alert on there, on the main page.
On the main page?
Yep.
Okay, great.
You can tell it what you want to be identified for or what kind of alert there are.
That's great.
So a lot of good stuff there. National Night Out, I attended that. That was huge for the town. I don't know if anyone went, but there was a lot of people there. Steve was in the dunk tank. We had a bus driver in the dunk tank, and we had Charlie, our veteran agent, at the dunk tank. So it was a good time. I did the EDIC meeting on 6 August. I did that online. I just want to say the online stuff, and I know we mentioned it in our last meeting too. It's just we got to get better with some of that stuff. It's kind of that room over there. To try to follow it from online is horrible. So EDIC is huge. I don't know if we can somehow, if this is over here, they can actually use this room better so the public can hear what's going on. And and we do talk about economic development. That would be a better transition if this room's available so the public can hear better. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, the chair of the EDA, the acting chair at the moment, I guess, did request another room for this Wednesday's meeting. The ZBA has this room for the hearing, so we weren't able to move them into here, so he's looking for another place now. We may move it to the recreation building, but, internet access is, we have to have it, so. We may be in there for one more meeting, or maybe in the auditorium. So,
I was gonna say, is the auditorium, are the acoustics good? Is it a better?
No, the acoustics are not great.
It's probably a better room than where they are. But I think going forward, they will be in here, so it may be the last time that they're in the small room and then they're gonna be coming out here, but yes, there seems to be more people attending these meetings now, so we'll make sure they have a better space.
That's great, thank you.
I attended the tri-board meeting, again, was in person, and I got a lot of complaints from residents where the speakers and everything was going on, so I know we're working on that with the capital plan, but we have to it's embarrassing. I just wanna say, it's completely embarrassing to us as select board members and as residents to try to hear what's going on. I don't know what we can do to mitigate that, test it before we have our next tri-board meeting, but we can't continue that. They can't hear what's going on. It's not fair to be transparent. They can't hear the conversations. It's not. I don't know what to do that's better for that.
Well, we did have tri-board meetings in here, and this room is good.
Yeah.
So I know it's cramped, but maybe that's
Just
where we
feedback I'm
hold
getting. I just want to pass it
No,
on.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
same
think
thing.
we all
We
agree.
can do it in here if that's what you choose, but it is gonna be tight, you're
I
right.
know.
So, I don't know how many people are gonna show up.
I mean, just as we don't have the elevator, so we got to think about the residents here and getting the message across clearly, so we're not hiding something from them. They got to be able to hear everything that's going on, especially in the resident. I mean, especially in the auditorium, they can even hear our conversations, half of them.
I
Never mind
I
online,
couldn't
yeah.
hear, sometimes when Steve would talk, I couldn't hear. I'm right down, right there. So,
It's maybe something we can pass on to Steve and Kevin can work out, maybe just a feedback.
yeah.
13 August, I was busy that day. I met with Kyle from the rec department. We talked about Foley Field and some parking upgrades and moving some sheds around. We talked about the soccer field possibly moving over to we're over by the basketball court and trying to utilize that space. So I'm trying to get out there. Linda's doing a great job trying to capitalize on that stuff too, just to let you guys know there. 13 August, I also had the Veteran Social Hour and the Rainbow Group. So I Veteran Social Hour, then I went over to the tail end of the Rainbow Group. But they're having a birthday party next month at the Rainbow Group, so if you want that,
They're in a what?
a little birthday party, so
Okay.
for one of the members. So I encourage you to go and making some brownies if you want to go there and have that. The Veteran Group is doing a luncheon September 5th. It's a $5 van ride. The senior center is sponsoring the van, so it's just $5, and we're going to cover the van for the veterans.
That's
So
great.
a bunch of us are going to donate. 13 August, I met with DPW Linda. We talked about the War Memorial in the center of town and the weeds. The War Memorial, the cannon's falling apart and stuff, so she reached out to Ed Knight, who's the committee member, and we're going to get some prices for that to kind of fix it. I don't know if you've been up there. And then I talked about the weeding. A resident brought that up to me. Needless to say, the very next day, a town resident volunteered. No one asked this person, and they're not going to be identified, but went up there and weeded the whole town common around the memorial.
Oh my God.
And Linda has pictures and sent them to me. This resident spent all day in the hot sun out there. I don't want to say the names, and we don't want to identify the resident, but we didn't ask them to do anything. They just did it on their own free will. So that's the people in Belchertown we have, and we got to honor those residents that we're working for. do this to come out and just
Well,
weed
do
the
you
whole
know who it
common.
is? I'm not
Linda does
asking
that,
you.
yeah.
Well, so I don't know if we can.
She doesn't wanna be identified, so, but I just wanna say.
No, I'm
we-
saying, can
On
the
the deal.
town
Yeah,
thank
or-
her, would that be appropriate?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm new to this, so I'm just trying to pass
Okay.
on the information. But I just think it's kudos, like, to have a resident just
Yeah.
go up there and weed the whole town common by themselves.
That's
Which is awesome.
fantastic.
It looks really good too, so it's ready for the
Yeah.
fair. And I think Max is gonna clean the bushes up and stuff like that, so. And then I did the farmer's market on 17 August. I've been going to the farmer's market every week. It's a good time. It's growing every day, every week there's something new. I encourage you, there's music up there, there's cornhole up there, there's something for everybody. So I encourage you, everyone to go up there and just visit, even don't buy anything, you can hang out.
Oh, it's tough not to buy
Yeah.
anything. It's
But
really
it's a good time just to get out there and walk around and do something. So, that's where I'm
Thank
at.
you, John, thank you. Whitney?
Oh, hi, me. I also attended National Night Out on the 5th. It was great. It was my 3rd year attending, and they're always such wonderful events. I'm so glad that this exists. I know it's a national event, but I do feel like Belchertown does it very well. So it was great. Then I went on vacation, so nothing interesting happened town-wise, but it was a good break. Just right before this meeting tonight, I stopped by the library, held their annual summer reading program party that they get for all the kids who complete their summer reading for the summer, and that was really nice. They did that. And I just wanted to share that the Energy and Sustainability Committee wanted to let everyone know that they have a full committee, that they just brought on 2 full-time members and 2 associate members.
That's
So
great.
that's great. They've got lots of interest. I'm sure Steve has an update, but they say that things are looking good for the EV charging station and that we should be seeing this, but they just had their 1-year anniversary of the Energy Choice program, and they're going to be doing some more marketing to encourage people to consider the Belchertown 100 program.
That's
Town,
great.
town posted about it.
And that's it.
Jen?
Oh, gosh.
Thank you, Whitney.
Last Friday was the last Food Truck Friday on the Common.
What did you say? Say it again.
Last Food Truck Friday.
Food Truck Friday.
For the summer. Last Friday. We had a meeting about a fitness campaign grant opportunity with the rec department. So we're gonna look more into that. This upcoming Tuesday, there's a breakfast at UMass that we were all invited to, and if you say yes, I will be there. Whitney will be there. It's a free ticket, just for us. Other people have to register. But we had a meeting with UMass today, and they're gonna try to highlight Belchertown and give us some shout outs from the podium and stuff like that. So I think Doug's gonna go also. Still planning for the Lake Wallace Fall Fest in October. The 3v3 happened for Julia, the Julia Scholarship this last Saturday. They raised a good amount of money. I mean, that's for a great, amazing cause and scholarship. But they had the whole fields were like filled all Saturday. So I don't know if you went by there. This upcoming weekend is the giant St. Francis tag sale on the Common. Starts at 8 o'clock. Don't forget, bring your coffee. Get there early for the rope drop. My friends have totally suckered me into it in past years, but I can't make it this year. And then this upcoming Wednesday is another meeting about the implementation matrix project. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting late, but I did a couple things. I did do the fitness grant with the rec department and other committee members. Met with town manager on town matters. Attended tri-board. Went to the EDIC meeting and the special meeting on goals and objectives. And I'm sure there were other things.
So many things.
Okay. Is there any media questions? Questions from the media? Okay. Having no more to say, We're gonna move into executive session.
I move to enter into executive session, not to return to open session, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21, subsection 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate. If the chair declares that an open meeting may have detrimental effects on the negotiation position of a public body. 6 and 8 Berkshire Ave in Tadjil and Cold Spring.
Okay.
Second.
It calls for a roll call.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That's it.